the school beauty's personal bodyguard. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 151 You Can't Drink. Please vote for recommendation. Although Lin Yi was inside the house, he could still hear everything that was happening outside clearly. Chu Mengyao was angry, and then Uncle Fu came, as well as their conversation at the dinner table. Lin Yi stretched his body. Now was an emergency. The two girls were going out at night. Although they didn't say they wanted to take him with them, Lin Yi couldn't just ignore them. He just followed them from a distance. Thinking of this, Lin Yi prepared to take off his school uniform and change into something else. His number 1 middle school uniform was too conspicuous. If he went out at night, it would probably attract attention. It would not be good if Chu Mengyao found out. He found a set of casual clothes that he had just bought at a street stall over the weekend, and took off his school uniform completely, leaving only his underwear. Just as he was about to put on his clothes, the door of the room was pushed open. Chen Yushu didn't expect Lin Yi to be naked in the room. She was shocked and almost screamed. Fortunately, her hand was quick enough to cover her mouth, and her other hand covered her eyes, but she was still observing Lin Yi's figure through her fingers. Not bad, with abs too. Anyway, she had already seen Lin Yi's lower body, so it didn't matter if she looked at him again. Chen Yushu comforted herself. However, she couldn't let Lin Yi see her peeking again, so covering her eyes was necessary. How did you get in? Lin Yi was also startled. He was changing clothes when the door was pushed open. If he hadn't known there was no danger in the villa, he would have kicked it as soon as it opened. He quickly pulled up a pair of pants and covered himself in front of himself. Although Lin Yi was a bit thick-skinned, he felt embarrassed to be looked at by Chen Yushu like that. Of course I have something to ask you, Chen Yushu blushed. Hurry up and put on your pants. Are you running around naked in the house? No, I saw you were going out, so I thought I'd change and follow you from a distance. Lin Yi didn't hide anything from Chen Yushu. Although this girl sometimes wanted to cause chaos, in most cases, she knew right from wrong and wouldn't do anything rash. Huh? You knew we were going out? Chen Yushu was a little surprised, even removing her hand from her eyes. However, Lin Yi had already quickly put on his pants, leaving only his upper body bare. Even so, it was a very embarrassing thing. Although Chen Yushu was a little curious, she was too embarrassed to look any further. She thought to herself, well, after Sister Yao marries him, I can watch as much as I want. Haha. I heard some of what you said just now. Lin Yi nodded, grabbed a cheap t-shirt and put it on. He still didn't have enough clothes, so he should buy a few more when he had time. Oh, in that case, I won't explain any further, Chen Yushu said, handing Lin Yi a set of keys. Here, these are the keys to the garage at my villa, and these are my car keys. Sister Yao will definitely be driving soon. If you don't have a car, you'll think you're Superman and can keep up. Oh? Okay, thank you. Lin Yi didn't expect Chen Yushu to give him the car keys. I'm just worried Sister Yao will go crazy and go somewhere dangerous, Chen Yushu said a little embarrassedly. Then you'll have to be her thug. Lin Yi sweet dropped. It seemed this girl was just looking for some fun. Afraid he wouldn't have a place to shine. Let's go. Sister Yao's looking for some clothes, so I took this opportunity to sneak out. You go get the car first, Chen Yushu said, and left the room. Lin Yi had also put on his clothes by then, and took the keys Chen Yushu had given him and quickly left the villa, walking briskly towards Chen Yushu's villa. Chen Yushu's villa was easy to spot. It was just across the street from Chu Mengyao's. After opening the outer iron gate of the villa, Lin Yi found Chen Yushu's garage. Parked inside was a yellow Beetle. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and touched his nose. It was a somewhat feminine car. Although there were men driving it, the color was really a bit bright. Lin Yi opened the door and got in the car. He drove out of Chen Yushu's villa and parked on the side of the road to wait. If he drove out directly from Chen Yushu's villa, it might arouse Chu Mengyao's suspicion. But it didn't matter if he parked on the side of the road. There were many similar cars, and it was so late, Chu Mengyao would not be able to carefully observe the license plate. He turned off the headlights and waited quietly for Chu Mengyao's car to come out. After a while, Chu Mengyao's Audi slowly drove out of the villa. When turning the corner, it honked the horn, as if to remind Lin Yi. Lin Yi was slightly startled, then he understood. It was probably Chen Yushu who was driving the car, so she reminded him. Lin Yi turned on the headlights, started the car, and slowly followed. Because Chen Yushu was driving, Lin Yi felt even more at ease. Usually, only the driver pays more attention to the road conditions, and passengers in the car rarely look back and forth, so Lin Yi was not afraid that Chu Mengyao would find out that he was following him. Lin Yi guessed correctly, the car was indeed driven by Chen Yushu. She took the excuse that Chu Mengyao was in a bad mood and offered to be the driver for once, which surprised Chu Mengyao. Chen Yushu hated driving the most, except for racing, of course. This was because she felt that the car could not run smoothly on city roads. The stop-and-go driving was very uncomfortable. After acting coquettishly with Chu Mengyao a few times and calling her sister Yao a few times, Chu Mengyao reluctantly agreed to be her driver. As for her own Beetle, it was left in the garage and she could hardly drive it out once a year. Sister Yao, where are we going? Chen Yushu looked in the rearview mirror and saw that her yellow Beetle had caught up, so she felt relieved. In the past, when the two of them went out, Uncle Fu would follow them no matter how late it was. However, after Lin Yi came, Uncle Fu took them to school and took care of their meals, and all other matters fell on Lin Yi. Chen Yushu was a little confused before, but after the bank incident, Chen Yushu found that Lin Yi was indeed capable, and not only good at teaching gangsters a lesson. So this time, she called Lin Yi. Chen Yushu was not stupid. She knew very well what the two of them looked like to be named the school beauties. Although their backgrounds were strong, the bad guys didn't know. So it was safer to bring Brother Arrow with him. Let's go to the bar? I want to drink some wine, how about you? Chu Mengyao was in a bad mood, looking at the night view outside the window. I want to drink too, Chen Yushu nodded excitedly. I haven't tried it before. I didn't dare drink before when Uncle Fu was with me. This time I can drink as much as I want. Oh, that's great. With Uncle Fu by their side, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu naturally behaved more properly and wouldn't do anything too out of line. You have to know that Uncle Fu is Chu Pengzhan's confidant and can report any movements here at any time. Zia Oshu, you can't, you can only drink juice. Chu Mengyao pointed at the steering wheel of the car. You're drinking, who will drive? Chapter 152. Do you really think I don't know? Please vote for recommendation, huh? Chen Yushu looked at the grinning Chu Mengyao, knowing she'd been tricked. Normally, Chu Mengyao wouldn't make such a joke. If they'd switched places, it wouldn't have been much of a stretch. But today, Chu Mengyao bucked her usual tone and started a little joke with Chen Yushu. This showed that Chu Mengyao was in a very unusual mood today. Chen Yushu surprisingly didn't protest. Normally, she'd have 100 excuses to wait for Chu Mengyao, but today, she nodded obediently. Okay, then, I'll have some juice. Oh, that's good, Chu Mengyao nodded. Sister Yao, how about we both drink and then take a taxi back, or ask Wrigley to drive us home? Chen Yushu thought again, thinking this was a rare opportunity. They'd finally come out to drink, but what was the point of just watching Chu Mengyao drink without drinking herself? Call him? Then what about your yellow bug? Park it on the side of the road. Chu Mengyao suddenly looked at Chen Yushu with a half-smile. Ah, Chen Yushu opened her mouth in surprise and looked at Chu Mengyao. Sister Yao, what are you talking about? Do you really think I don't know? Chu Mengyao glared at Chen Yushu. How could I not know your little thoughts? I have seen through you since I was a child. When I was changing clothes, what were you looking for in your bag? It seems that you rarely move your handbag, right? You were not looking for your car keys, were you? Then you sneaked out and came back a while later. As a result, when you went out, Lin Yi's shoes were gone. Do you think I really didn't see it? Chen Yushu was a little embarrassed. She didn't expect that her little trick had been discovered by Chu Mengyao a long time ago. Then you rushed to drive again. When have you ever rushed to drive before? Chu Mengyao looked at Chen Yushu mischievously. After leaving the villa, you even honked your horn. Then a yellow bug followed behind us. Wasn't it yours? Sister Yao, so you figured it out. Chen Yushu blushed. She had to admire Chu Mengyao's sharp mind. She had guessed her intentions through this series of anomalies. If that bastard hadn't been following me, would I have dared to go to the bar so late? Chu Mengyao snorted. But don't ask him to come over later. I hate him now. Oh, that's fine. I can drink too. Chen Yushu didn't care whether Lin Yi came over or not. Since she had already been exposed, there was no need to hide. With a protector, the two of them were naturally fearless. I drink when I'm in a bad mood. What do you drink? Seeing Chen Yushu's showy attitude, Chu Mengyao was a little angry. I drink when I'm in a good mood, Chen Yushu nodded. Chu Mengyao was speechless. Having a best friend like that was a bit too much. Chen Yushu found a bar called Powerful Floating Clouds. Judging from the decor, it seemed newly opened and quite lively, so she parked the car in front of the bar. After parking the car, a doorman immediately came over and helped Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu open the car door. Ladies, welcome to Powerful Floating Clouds. Do you have a reservation? No. Chu Mengyao locked the car and shook her head. Then please follow me. The doorman smiled and nodded, leading Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu into the bar. It was a typical European and American bar, with a strong European and American country style, but also luxurious. It seemed that the owner must have invested a lot of money. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu rarely visited places like this, so they were very curious. The first floor lobby was a dance hall, with a bar and booths. In the middle of the hall was a stage, on which two foreign women were singing. Their clothes were not too revealing. It was only a little after 7 in the evening, still early, far from the erotic dance, and the performances on stage were more formal. Would you like to sit at the bar or in a booth? The doorman was a sharp shrew. Seeing Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu curiously looking around the bar, he knew it was their first time. Regular customers usually found their own seats after entering, not needing the doorman to guide them. Could you find us a quiet booth? Chu Mengyao longed for the scenes of people drinking at the bar on TV, but since it was her first time, she was a little hesitant. Okay, please follow me. The doorman handed Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu to the receptionist in the lobby and returned to the bar entrance. The waiter led Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu to a booth farther to the side and asked with a smile, "Is this okay?" "Not bad." Then, Chu Mengyao nodded and sat down with Chen Yushu. This secluded booth was rarely chosen, except for those drinking alone because they were feeling down. Even then, most people would sit alone at the bar. It looked like these two beautiful girls were here for the first time, and the waiter sighed slightly. Such innocent, inexperienced girls actually came to the bar. I wonder if there were many wolves here, targeting them specifically? As for the wealthy women who frequented the bar, it was uncertain who would be the winner. It was possible to spend a fortune and not even touch a finger, leaving their efforts in vain. Therefore, the wolves focused their attention on young women like Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. The moment they entered the bar, they were stared at by dozens of eyes. However, seeing Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu's unusual demeanor, a well-informed person made inquiries and learned that they drove an Audi. Many poor wolves were daunted. They looked like wealthy ladies, and these poor wolves didn't think they had the wherewithal to impress them. The wolves with more family backgrounds, though they had some money, didn't dare approach without knowing the situation. They just waited, waiting for the first person to hit the wall. Lin Yi parked his Beetle next to Chu Mengyao's Audi. Seeing that Lin Yi came alone, the doorman didn't say much. "Sir, welcome." There were many young men like him who came here alone, and there were many every day. The doorman assumed that Lin Yi was also looking for a woman, so he didn't explain much. He simply helped Lin Yi open the car door and walked him into the bar. As he entered, Lin Yi turned back and glanced towards the door as if nothing had happened, and smiled thoughtfully. Then, seeing Chu Mengyao looking in his direction, Lin Yi knew his whereabouts had been exposed. No longer hiding anything, Lin Yi shrugged and walked straight towards Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu, sitting at a separate table for two not far from them. Chapter 153. Can I sit here? Calling for recommendation tickets, Lin Yi ordered a glass of red wine, but didn't drink it. He placed it on the table, quietly observing the various people in the bar. He wasn't here to drink, but if he sat there without ordering anything, the waiter would definitely give him a cold shoulder. "Handsome, is anyone here?" Lin Yi's peripheral vision was fixed on Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu when someone suddenly approached and stood in front of Lin Yi's table. Lin Yi looked up and saw a mature woman in her 20s, elegantly dressed. Although the bar was dimly lit, he could still see her impressive figure and flawless facial features. She was undoubtedly a woman of considerable talent. Compared to the youthful Chu Mengyao, Chen Yushu, and Tang Yun, she was even more captivating. A sly glint in the woman's eyes suggested she was a seasoned bargoer. Lin Yi wasn't foolish enough to assume he'd been noticed by this beautiful woman. Not yet. Lin Yi calmly averted his gaze from the woman and stopped looking at her. Sun Jinggai was slightly taken aback. She hadn't expected Lin Yi's attitude to be so cold. She had carefully considered her target. In her opinion, Lin Yi was just another pervert who came here to hunt for women, but with a slightly immature appearance, he didn't look like a seasoned prodigy. So, Sun Jinggai was confident that she could easily win him over with her charm, and that it would be easy to charm him into doing things for her. But unexpectedly, Lin Yi's attitude towards her was unusually cold, as if he didn't even take her seriously. This irritated Sun Jinggai. Could it be that Lin Yi was attracted to those young, immature schoolgirls? It wasn't too late, and the bar wasn't crowded yet. Lin Yi's seat was a bit away from the center stage, making it a relatively good seat. Besides Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu's table, there were no other customers there. Naturally, Sun Jinggai assumed that Lin Yi's targets were Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu. Was she no match for those two young, immature girls? Sun Jinggai's sunshine was so piercing that even though Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu had changed their clothes, she could tell at a glance that they were younger, likely still in school. "You're not inviting me to sit down," Sun Jinggai said to Lin Yi with a smile, suppressing her anger. "How?" Lin Yi smiled faintly. "I don't own the bar. If you want to sit down, I can't kick you out, can I? Handsome, you're quite interesting to talk to." Sun Jinggai could hear the respectful tone in Lin Yi's words, but she still sat down in front of him. Time waited for no one, and finding another seemingly harmless man like Lin Yi in this bar was going to be difficult. No sooner had she gotten rid of one problem than another presented itself. "Handsome, are you targeting those two pretty girls at that table?" As Sun Jinggai spoke, she glanced in the direction of Chu Mengyao and the others. Lin Yi glanced at Sun Jinggai but didn't answer her question. "Just tell me what you want to say. I don't like beating around the bush." "Huh?" Sun Jinggai looked at Lin Yi in surprise. She hadn't expected him to tell she was there for a reason, not just to sit around. Sun Jinggai frowned slightly, sensing that Lin Yi wasn't as harmless as he appeared. There seemed to be more to him than meets the eye. So, had she made the right choice? "Handsome guy, how about a favor?" Sun Jinggai was already sitting there. Regardless of whether choosing Lin Yi was right or wrong, she had no choice but to continue. "What's your name?" Lin Yi asked, looking at Sun Jinggai. "Me." Sun Jinggai had never expected this handsome guy to play by the rules. His answers often didn't match the questions, and then he asked another question. Sun Jinggai hesitated and said her name. "Stop calling me handsome. My name is Lin Yi." Lin Yi kept his gaze fixed on Sun Jinggai as she spoke. If she was lying, he could tell by the subtle shifts in her gaze. He asked Sun Jinggai's name to confirm her trustworthiness. If she was full of lies, no matter how beautiful she was, Lin Yi would have her kicked out the moment she got there. Lin Yi didn't have time for such a big brother who talked nonsense. But Sun Jinggai wasn't lying, so Lin Yi naturally let the conversation continue. Sun Jinggai hadn't expected Lin Yi to readily reveal his name, which surprised her and made her even more unsure of the man before her. He was supposed to be here to hunt for women, but that didn't seem to be the case. Was he just pretending to be impressive to attract the attention of her and the others? "Okay, Lin Yi, how about a favor?" Sun Jinggai didn't care whether Lin Yi was truly that way or just pretending. What mattered was getting through this difficult situation first. "What favor?" Lin Yi asked. "Be my boyfriend," Sun Jinggai said. Lin Yi looked Sun Jinggai up and down. "Are you okay?" "Love at first sight." Sun Jinggai blushed and quickly added, "It's temporary, just for a while, okay?" "Oh, a shield? Why didn't you say so earlier?" Lin Yi understood what Sun Jinggai meant as soon as he heard it. This was not the first time he had done this. He was brought here by Miss Chu to be a shield for her, although he has not really got into the role so far. "I thought you were a flower maniac?" Sun Jinggai was speechless. Only the man in front of her could say such a magical irony. It turns out that women can be so angry when they are ignored. Sun Jinggai had the urge to kick Lin Yi to death. If time was not tight and she had to borrow Lin Yi, Sun Jinggai would have gotten up and left long ago. "Well, since you understand, that's great. Just cooperate with me for a while. You don't have to say much, I'll take care of everything," Sun Jinggai instructed. "After this is done, I'll treat you to a nice meal." "No need for a nice meal, just give me some money." "I don't have time." Lin Yi was speaking the truth. After the job was done, he still had to escort the two young ladies home. How could he have the time for a nice meal? If Chu Mengyao knew, she'd be furious. Sun Jinggai didn't know how to describe Lin Yi. Should he say he was blind? When he looked her up and down, he deliberately cast several greedy glances at her chest. But then, he refused the opportunity to dine alone and just asked for money. Was he just pretending, or? Sun Jinggai now felt that the possibility of Lin Yi pretending was unlikely. Sun Jinggai had encountered people who deliberately acted pretentiously before. She was well aware of her own appearance, figure, and charm. Some men around her would look at her with amazement, even obsession, and pay her many tributes. However, there are also some men who deliberately do the opposite, pretending to be cool, indifferent and independent, trying to attract her attention in this way, which makes Sun Jinggai despise them very much. Chapter 154, Professional Shield. Calling for recommendations, men like this often act gentlemanly and polite, but their attitude carries a certain lukewarmness, deliberately ignoring Sun Jinggai's charms in order to catch her attention. But this was the first time she'd encountered a man like Lin Yi, who directly traded a fancy meal for cash. This wasn't just pretense, it meant Lin Yi had no intention of pursuing a future relationship with her. In his eyes, a fancy meal wasn't as valuable as money. Sun Jinggai felt a pang of indignation at the thought. Was this guy's brain out of control? He only liked those two young girls? How was she inferior to them? For the first time, Sun Jinggai was struck with regret. She even felt a little regretful about choosing such a man to work with. Of course, Sun Jinggai said, trying to remain calm. If you succeed, I'll give you 1,000 yuan. How's that? Deal? Lin Yi nodded. If he had the money, he'd be a fool not to take it. It would be a waste if he didn't. However, Lin Yi found that he seemed to have the potential to be a shield. If he loses his job in the future, he can open a shield company to protect himself. He will not starve to death. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu naturally saw Sun Jinggai go over and sit at Lin Yi's table. The bar was too noisy and they couldn't hear what they were saying clearly. Xiao Shu, what does this guy mean? Who is that woman? Chu Mengyao frowned and glanced at Lin Yi's table. However, she had to admit that the woman was very attractive. Even Chu Mengyao was secretly amazed. I don't know, but it looks like she came here to chat up Brother Arrow. Chen Yashu couldn't hear the conversation between Lin Yi and Sun Jinggai clearly. Miss, Chu Mengyao looked at Sun Jinggai's temperament and didn't seem like those wild prostitutes. Maybe, Chen Yashu was unsure. Let's take a look. It seems interesting. Look, there's a guy a little less handsome than Brother Arrow coming over. He looks like he's going to cause trouble. Chu Mengyao followed Chen Yashu's gaze and saw a man walking towards Lin Yi. He's here. You must cooperate with me. Sun Jinggai glanced at Lin Yi nervously. No problem, Lin Yi was nonchalant. Jinggai, how come you're here while I was paying for the taxi? A handsome man in a high-end casual Armani suit strode towards them, speaking as he walked. Although his pace was brisk, he maintained a gentlemanly demeanor. He clearly bore the appearance of a well-educated young talent. This kind of natural demeanor is difficult to cultivate. Of course, this doesn't apply to multi-talented individuals like Lin Yi, who can fake it. When carrying out a mission, he must quickly integrate into various roles and make no flaws, otherwise he could face certain death. Lin Yi glanced at the newcomer calmly without saying anything. Sun Jinggai had already said that he didn't need to speak. However, Sun Jinggai did not lie about one thing, her name was indeed Jinggai. Wu Chenshin, didn't I tell you before that my boyfriend is waiting for me here? What are you doing here? Sun Jinggai frowned slightly. Jinggai, I think you know what my uncle and aunt mean. I came to Songshan City this time after asking for their opinion. They asked me to come here to take care of you. The man named Wu Chenshin was not angry. He didn't even look at Lin Yi, somewhat ignoring his intention. Wu Chenshin, I don't think you understand. I've made it very clear that I have a boyfriend. If you just want to show some concern and care as an older brother, I'd be happy to accept it. Anything else? No need. Sun Jinggai replied indifferently. Let me introduce you. This is my boyfriend Lin Yi. Jinggai, I don't care whether you had a boyfriend before. I don't care about these things. After all, I have studied abroad for so many years, and you have the right to have your own life, Wu Chenshin said, but now, I hope we can start over. This is what my parents want, and it's also what your parents want. I think you should understand. Oh? Funny, Sun Jinggai curled her lips. Wu Chenshin, don't you think what you said is funny? What does it have to do with any whether you go abroad or not? Before you went abroad, our two families were old friends, we were brother and sister, and we are still brother and sister now. What's the difference? Not to mention the nonsense of starting over. Jingai, is he your boyfriend? Seeing Sun Jingai's resolute attitude, Wu Chenshin did not continue to argue on the previous topic, but suddenly brought up Lin Yi. If he hadn't suddenly mentioned Lin Yi at this moment, one would have thought he hadn't even noticed Lin Yi's existence. Yes, Sun Jingai nodded. You saw it, you believe it, you can leave now, haha. Wu Chenshin smiled faintly and extended his hand to Lin Yi. Hello, brother. My name is Wu Chenshin, Lin Yi. Lin Yi extended his hand and shook Wu Chenshin's. Just as he was about to separate, he felt a strong force pinching his palm. This Wu Chenshin was still unwilling to give up and was looking for something to do. However, Lin Yi didn't fight back and let him pinch him. Back then, his master had forced him to use his bare hands to smash trees and rocks. This level of pain was no longer a problem for Lin Yi. Moreover, the Xuanyuan Yulong Jue had successfully broken through the first level and entered the first level of great perfection. Although it was still the first level, breaking through and not breaking through are two completely different concepts. Lin Yi's entire body had undergone a noticeable transformation, his coordination reaching unprecedented perfection. If he were to encounter the same bank robbery again, he might be able to pull it off without getting hurt. However, his injury was largely due to the young nurse Guanzin, who was standing behind him. It also served to confuse the criminals. How much more powerful could a man who had been shot be? Therefore, although the muscles and bones in Lin Yi's palms shifted in shape under Wu Chenshin's grip, it didn't hurt at all. This was because Lin Yi's body structure had changed, and the flexibility of his muscles and bones was different from that of ordinary people. After pinching twice and finding no effect, Wu Chenshin had no choice but to let go. Otherwise, holding someone's hand endlessly wouldn't be a big deal, right? Of course, Wu Chenshin didn't think it was truly ineffective. All the martial arts cultivated by his family were embodied in his hands. Although he didn't use any of these skills when pinching Lin Yi, Wu Chenshin was quite confident in his own strength. So, in his opinion, it wasn't that Lin Yi didn't feel any pain, but that he was incredibly tolerant and pretending nothing was wrong. He simply didn't want to lose face in front of Sun Jingai. As for using his family's martial arts to pinch Lin Yi, Wu Chenshin hadn't considered that, as that might fracture Lin Yi's hand. In that case, Sun Jingai would definitely feel that he was bullying others, which would be unpleasant. Chapter 155 Very Insidious. Calling for recommended votes, it must be said that Wu Chenshin is a very sinister person. He wants to use dirty tricks to harm Lin Yi, but he doesn't want Sun Jingai to see through it. He's the kind of person who's cunning and mean. Do you mind if I sit over here? Wu Chenshin said this, but he had already pulled up a chair and sat down at the table where Lin Yi and Sun Jingai were sitting. Although it was a table for two, an extra chair wouldn't hurt. With Wu Chenshin's presence, the atmosphere at the table became a little strange. Sun Jingai and Lin Yi didn't know each other, so she didn't dare to talk too much at this moment, fearing that if she spoke too much, she would reveal a flaw and be discovered by Wu Chenshin. Wu Chenshin had previously tried to harm Lin Yi, but failed, and he felt a little depressed. If Sun Jingai hadn't been here, I would have crushed you. Haha, brother, where did you make your fortune? Seeing that no one at the table was talking, Wu Chenshin found a topic of conversation and tried to get some information about Lin Yi. Wu Chenshin was incredibly depressed today. He'd traveled thousands of miles to Songshan City, hoping to hang out with Sun Jingai. But as soon as he brought it up, Sun Jingai deflected with the excuse of having a boyfriend. Thinking she was just trying to get by, Wu Chenshin naturally didn't believe him and continued his persuasion. Sun Jingai, growing increasingly impatient, claimed her boyfriend was waiting for her at the bar. Unaware of Chenshin's shamelessness, she'd followed him. Quickly thinking, Sun Jingai brought in Lin Yi, an imposter. Having recently returned to China, Wu Chenshin had no idea how Sun Jingai was faring in Songshan. So, upon discovering she actually had a boyfriend, he couldn't confirm it and could only cautiously investigate. No need to get rich. Lin Yi's impression of Wu Chenshin plummeted. He had initially been hesitant to get involved in his and Sun Jingai's affairs, but since this guy had so indiscriminately threatened him, he didn't hesitate. No need to get rich? Chenshin was stunned, not quite understanding what Lin Yi meant by no need to get rich. Was he referring to his family being wealthy and not needing to earn money? His clothes weren't particularly good, just cheap street goods. Could he be playing dumb? Let me introduce myself. My name is Wu Chenshin, and Jingai and I are childhood sweethearts. Wu Chenshin nodded at Lin Yi and extended his hand again. Forget the handshake. You almost crushed me just now. This time, Lin Yi didn't even bother extending his hand. Alright, now that you've introduced yourself, you can leave now, right? Do you realize you're blocking my view of the show by just sitting here? Sun Jingai frowned at Lin Yi's words and gave Wu Chenshin a somewhat annoyed look. Wu Chenshin's family, the Wu family, was renowned for their martial arts skills. His iron hands were incredibly skilled, said to be inherited from the Shaolin iron sand palm. Sun Jingai knew the Wu family's intricacies and naturally knew how strong Wu Chenshin's grip was. After hearing what Lin Yi said, she also understood that Wu Chenshin had rigged the handshake just now. Damn it! How insidious! Wu Chenshin's face suddenly turned pale and embarrassed, and he cursed Lin Yi inwardly for being so insidious. He hadn't said anything when he was pinched before, acting like he could endure it. If Lin Yi had screamed when he was pinched, even if Sun Jingai knew Wu Chenshin had rigged it, she would inevitably lose some points against him. How could such a weak man protect his woman? How could he entrust his life to someone who screamed and cried at the slightest pain? But Lin Yi didn't do that. He had endured it naturally before, but now he suddenly brought it up again. It was clearly revenge. But Wu Chenshin was helpless. He had also initiated the second handshake. Lin Yi had suffered a loss before and silently endured it. If he suffered a loss again, he was not stupid enough to directly refuse and then make sarcastic remarks. Although Lin Yi had exposed his actions, he did so through the second handshake, without any intention of deliberately complaining. Mr. Lin, you're joking. My hands might have been a little too strong. I'm used to it, and I lost control when shaking hands with ordinary people. Wu Chenshin's meaning was clear. Lin Yi, you're just an ordinary person, unworthy of being with Sun Jingai. Oh, so that's how it is, Lin Yi nodded. It seems I misunderstood Mr. Wu. To express my apology, I've decided to shake your hand again. With that, Lin Yi extended his hand. Huh? Wu Chenshin was slightly startled. He hadn't expected Lin Yi to agree to another handshake. What was going on? But no matter what it was, since Lin Yi had already agreed, he couldn't afford to lose face. He also extended his hand and shook Lin Yi's. Ouch! An unparalleled pain shot through Wu Chenshin's hand. Looking at Lin Yi's smiling face, Wu Chenshin knew he had been retaliated against. Wu Chenshin was pinched by Lin Yi without any preparation, and he screamed subconsciously. It had been so many years since his hand had hurt so much, so Wu Chenshin screamed. Of course, he didn't think so much. He attributed the pain entirely to Lin Yi's unexpected counterattack, which caught him off guard and made his hand hurt so much. He didn't think about it. Could an ordinary person, no matter how hard he tried, pinch him like this? But anger had already clouded Wu Chenshin's mind. He didn't expect that he, the heir of the Wu family's iron hand, would actually be pinched by an unknown kid. This is simply a great shame. Wu Chenshin was about to fight back, but Lin Yi had already let go of Wu Chenshin's hand, looking at Wu Chenshin with a strange look. What? Did I hurt you? I didn't use much strength. Sun Jingai looked at Wu Chenshin with some disdain. What are you doing? Lin Yi said you pinched his hand and it hurt, but you screamed in surprise. Are you trying to make me think that Lin Yi pinched yours too? But who would believe that? Wu family iron hand, how could you be pinched by an ordinary person? Sun Jingai didn't believe it. She felt more and more that Wu Chenshin was completely hypocritical. Before, when they didn't interact much, she'd thought he was a polite man and treated him like a brother. But ever since he started pursuing her, Sun Jingai's dislike for him had only grown. Damn it! Wu Chenshin wanted to slap Lin Yi in the face. Wasn't this brat really that mean? Wu Chenshin, don't you think you're acting like a clown? Sun Jingai frowned and looked at Wu Chenshin. Uncle Wu would be very disappointed if he knew what you did. Wu Chenshin's face flushed and paled at what Sun Jingai said. He glared at Lin Yi resentfully. Okay, kid, you've got guts. I'll remember this grudge today. A wise man never suffers a loss in front of him. Sun Jingai was obviously resentful of him and leaned towards Lin Yi. Wu Chenshin simply stopped arguing and stood up. Sorry to bother you today. I'll treat you to another day. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 156. Who is it? Brother, good, you've got some tricks. Wu Chenshin patted Lin Yi on the shoulder. I've learned a lot, bro. We have a long way to go. Huh. Lin Yi looked at Wu Chenshin, a faint smile playing across his lips. I have many tricks. You can see them slowly. Sun Jingyi frowned as she watched Wu Chenshin patting Lin Yi. She wanted to warn Lin Yi, but she wasn't sure of Wu Chenshin's motives. Given the relationship between the Sun and Wu families, Sun Jingyi couldn't openly disrespect Wu Chenshin. If word got out to the elders, it would seem like she was being ignorant and helping an outsider. So, Sun Jingyi was in a dilemma. On the one hand, she didn't want Lin Yi to suffer any loss, but on the other hand, she wasn't sure if Wu Chenshin had done anything to him. Wu Chenshin snorted, naturally taking Lin Yi's words as just a polite remark. His goal had been achieved, so he wouldn't stay any longer. Wu Chenshin quickly left the bar. He wanted to have someone investigate Lin Yi's background, first to determine his true background, before making a final decision. Arriving at the bar, Wu Chenshin casually pulled out a wallet, opened it, and looked inside. He found only 1,800 yuan inside. Nothing else, not even a bank card or ID. Damn, what a poor bastard. Wu Chenshin cursed inwardly. He had originally considered looking at Lin Yi's ID card to investigate his background from the address on it, but it seemed he'd have to give up on that idea. This shabby wallet, could it have been bought for a few dollars at a street stall? Wu Chenshin examined the workmanship and material of the wallet, speechless. With his family background, how could Sun Jingyi be interested in him? Was he kidding? Wasn't he just a temporary colleague brought in to fill the bill? Of course, the wallet belonged to Lin Yi. Before leaving, Wu Chenshin patted Lin Yi on the back and exchanged a few polite words. While he was at it, he also took the wallet. With the Wu family's iron hand kung fu, stealing a wallet was a piece of cake. The Wu family specializes in speed. Petty theft is a piece of cake for him, almost a waste of his talent. Here's a tip. Wu Chenshin casually handed the doorman a small wad of bills from Lin Yi's wallet. This is for you. My name is Lin Yi, thank you, brother Lin. You're so generous. The doorman took the tip from Wu Chenshin with some surprise. While there were many wealthy people here, and some tipped the doorman, 100 or 200 was considered good. Unlike the beer girls and box princesses, who tipped generously, doormen like them rarely tipped much. Giving Wu Chenshin 800 yuan at once was simply too much, so the doorman groveled in gratitude. Haha, Wu Chenshin felt a surge of joy. Lin Yi, we'll see how you pay the bill later. You won't ask a woman to pay, will you? That would be too embarrassing, haha. Thinking that Lin Yi would be humiliated soon, Wu Chenshin swept away his previous melancholy. He hummed a little tune and hailed a taxi. He had just arrived in Songshan City and didn't have a car yet, so he used to take taxis to get around. He casually threw Lin Yi's broken wallet on the ground. He naturally didn't care about such a small amount of money. It was just to make Lin Yi feel embarrassed. As for giving a tip to the doorman, it was just to satisfy his own bad taste and to disgust Lin Yi. After Wu Chenshin left, Sun Jingyi looked at Lin Yi with some apology. Look, is there anything lost? Lost something? Lin Yi glanced at Sun Jingyi and thought that this girl's heart was not bad enough to remind him, but she pretended not to know. What was lost? A wallet or something? Sun Jingyi sighed. Wu Chenshin is a petty person. When he left for the last time, he patted you on the shoulder. I'm not sure if he did anything to you. Oh? Why didn't you remind me before? Lin Yi asked Sun Jingyi with a smile. Our families are old friends, so I can't publicly refute him. It wouldn't look good if it got to my parents either. Sun Jingyi was a bit embarrassed. But it's okay. I'll compensate you for whatever you lost. How? Lin Yi felt even more strongly that Sun Jingyi was kind-hearted. At least she was willing to take the responsibility for the loss. Aren't you afraid I'll ask for too much? Sun Jingyi felt a little embarrassed by Lin Yi's question. She was usually a strong woman, but today she had repeatedly failed in front of Lin Yi. The most fundamental reason was that Sun Jingyi noticed that Lin Yi seemed to ignore her charm. You don't seem like that kind of person. Sun Jingyi's embarrassment was only momentary, but she immediately returned to normal. Her big eyes flickered as she looked at Lin Yi, very seductively. Congratulations, you guessed wrong. Lin Yi shrugged. Huh? Sun Jinggai was speechless, regretting her choice today. Could it be that she had encountered someone even more difficult? But I didn't suffer any loss this time, so you don't have to compensate me. Lin Yi chuckled, took out a wallet that looked very high-end, and opened it. Someone exchanged a big wallet for a small wallet. There are US dollars, a lot of money. Oh, what is this? An ID card? Wu Chenshin? The photo looks like a portrait. No wonder he looks so unlucky. Sun Jinggai was slightly stunned after hearing Lin Yi's words. She was about to say something when she suddenly saw him take out a wallet. She was a little surprised. When Lin Yi mentioned exchanging a big wallet for a small wallet, Sun Jinggai felt something was wrong. Then, Lin Yi took out an ID card and called out Wu Chenshin's name. Sun Jinggai covered her mouth in astonishment and looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. He actually took Wu Chenshin's wallet in his hand? When was it? Was it when Wu Chenshin took his wallet? What kind of speed was that? He didn't even notice it. What's even more incredible is that Wu Chenshin didn't notice it either. If Wu Chenshin took Lin Yi's wallet away and Lin Yi didn't notice, Sun Jinggai would believe it. But if it was said that Lin Yi had taken Wu Chenshin's wallet without Wu Chenshin noticing, Sun Jinggai would be a little bit unbelievable. The Wu family's iron hands were all about hand speed, so it was no big deal for him to take Lin Yi's wallet. But from what Lin Yi said now, it seemed as if he had known for a long time that Wu Chenshin had taken his wallet, and he had also taken Wu Chenshin's wallet along with him. Sun Jinggai was a little speechless. Who was the person sitting in front of her? Was he an ordinary person? Who are you? Sun Jinggai had to look Lin Yi in the face. She regretted that this matter involved Lin Yi. Now it seemed that Lin Yi was obviously not an easy person to deal with. This kid had been pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger here. It's better if you don't know, Lin Yi said seriously. Give me 1,000 yuan, and then you can leave. Don't look for me for this matter in the future. That kid is too stupid. There is no sense of accomplishment in playing with him. Chapter 157, The Bandit. Handsome boy, tell me about this. I'm very curious about you. Sun Jinggai was so angry that her teeth were itching. She still remembered the $1,000. She had just glanced at Wu Chenshin's wallet and saw at least tens of thousands of dollars. However, Sun Jinggai was really curious about Lin Yi's background. In the bar, she inexplicably ran into a very powerful person, even more powerful than Wu Chenshin. The more Lin Yi didn't say, the more Sun Jinggai wanted to know. Sometimes women's curiosity is endless. Lin Yi looked at Sun Jinggai, whose breath was as fragrant as orchid and her demeanor was full of charm. He had to admit that Sun Jinggai made Lin Yi very moved. She was a beauty of the level of trouble. But Lin Yi was sure that Sun Jinggai's maturity and charm were fake. A woman in her 20s could not be called a mature woman. Sun Jinggai seemed to have deliberately dressed more maturely. Whether she was 27 or 28 was still unknown. From the previous conversation between Sun Jinggai and Wu Chenshin, Lin Yi was certain that Sun Jinggai wasn't actually that old. Perhaps she was deliberately appearing older because they were working. Do you usually talk to your boss and clients like that? Lin Yi's voice made his bones tremble, and he felt a little uneasy. Sun Jinggai was slightly startled, and her face suddenly flushed. She suddenly realized that she had unknowingly become a little coquettish. Every woman can act coquettish, and even if she can't, there are plenty of them in movies. But Sun Jinggai wasn't usually the type to act coquettishly, otherwise she wouldn't have dressed herself up as mature and capable, like those young girls, just to flirt with clients and get some business. But this time, Sun Jinggai was eager to know about Lin Yi, and unknowingly adopted that tone. This made Sun Jinggai a little embarrassed, but thankfully the lights in the bar were dim, so Lin Yi couldn't see her blush. Hey, handsome boy, do you think I'm that easygoing? Sun Jinggai saw Lin Yi and naturally mistook him for a younger brother. After all, he didn't look very old, which made her less defensive. Not really, but it's hard to say, Lin Yi said bluntly. Hey, handsome boy, tell me what you do for a living, and I'll only talk to you like this from now on, okay? Sun Jinggai wasn't usually that kind of person, but she was particularly curious about Lin Yi right now. Besides, since Lin Yi wasn't very old, she thought she was just trying to coax a younger brother, and it wouldn't hurt her. Do you really want to know? Lin Yi looked at Sun Jinggai with a half-smile. Sun Jinggai nodded. Okay, then I'll tell you, but don't tell anyone. Lin Yi regained his serious expression. I won't tell you. Sun Jinggai nodded subconsciously. Actually, I'm a notorious bandit, Lin Yi lowered his voice. I've already retired. Oh, Sun Jinggai looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. Intuitively, she thought something was wrong, but seeing Lin Yi's serious look, it didn't seem like he was lying, and she was a little skeptical. Is it true? But don't worry, I promised you that I won't tell anyone. Well, then give me 1,000 yuan, and then you can leave. Lin Yi nodded. Sun Jinggai didn't break her promise. She took out her wallet, counted out 10 bills and handed them to Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't count them and took them directly in his hand. You won't leave me a phone number? Sun Jinggai was a little annoyed when she saw Lin Yi took the money and didn't say anything. Most men would take the initiative to ask for their phone numbers, right? Even if I don't give it to them, they will force their phone numbers to me. It seems that my charm is really not as attractive to Lin Yi as those two green schoolgirls. 152XXXX 1234 Lin Yi reported his mobile phone number, remembered to prepare the money before calling. When Lin Yi said this, the waiter of the bar happened to come over and wanted to put the chair that Wu Chenshin had moved before back to its original place. He happened to hear Lin Yi's words and saw the stack of banknotes in Lin Yi's hand. He was speechless. It turned out that this kid was a gigolo. Looking at Sun Jinggai, he didn't know what to say. She is so beautiful, why does she still need to be like this? Just make a finger and countless men will line up and spend money. Sun Jinggai's face was a little hot when she was looked at by the waiter. She knew that he had misunderstood. She was a little angry. She glared at Lin Yi hatefully and left in a hurry. Looking at Lin Yi's arrogant expression, the waiter secretly speculated, could this kid have some magical power? Sun Jinggai had never been so embarrassed in front of a man, but today she fell for a boy who was younger than her and did not play by the rules. But no matter what, Lin Yi helped her and got rid of Wu Chenshin's entanglement. Although it was only temporary, Wu Chenshin would come around again in a few days, but it was better to escape for a while. At this time, a certain poor guy was sweating profusely and rummaging around in his clothes. That's not right. When he went out, he remembered that he brought his wallet with him. How come it's gone? Do you have any money? You look so elegant. Are you trying to default on your debt? The taxi driver said impatiently. Brother, I forgot to bring my wallet. It's in the hotel room. I'll go upstairs to get it and give you the fare. Okay. Wu Chenshin cursed his bad luck in his heart. If he had known this would happen, why would he give all Lin Yi's money to the doorman? It would be better to leave 100 yuan. Are you kidding me? If you go up there, how can you come down? Where can I find you? The taxi driver didn't believe Wu Chenshin. Call your friends to give you the money, or don't leave. Wu Chenshin had just arrived in Songshan city and was unfamiliar with the place. Who could he possibly know? Dude, how about you come with me upstairs to get the money? I'll go with you. Are you kidding? What if someone's ambushing me upstairs? The taxi driver wasn't stupid either. Besides, long-term parking is prohibited here. If I go up there with you, what if the police come to give me a ticket? Don't waste time, call now. Okay. Wu Chenshin was speechless and had to call Sun Jinggai. As soon as Sun Jinggai walked out of the bar, her phone rang. She glanced at a caller ID and saw it was Wu Chenshin. Sun Jinggai hadn't expected this guy to be so quick-witted. He called back just after she'd left. She hung up impatiently and saved the number Lin Yi had just given her. Not long after, Wu Chenshin called again. Sun Jinggai frowned. Are you annoying? It's endless, isn't it? She answered the phone with some displeasure. Wu Chenshin, what on earth are you doing? My boyfriend and I are being intimate. Chapter 158. Why can't we? Jinggai, I'm in a taxi and I don't have my wallet to pay the bill. Please help me, I'm at the hotel entrance. Wu Chenshin was afraid that Sun Jinggai would hang up on him, so he spoke quickly. Huh? Sun Jinggai's heart almost burst into joy when she heard Wu Chenshin's words. You didn't bring your wallet? You didn't bring your wallet? Your wallet is in Lin Yi's hand. But, isn't Lin Yi's wallet in Wu Chenshin's hand? How could he not have money to pay the bill? Thinking of this, Sun Jinggai pretended to be angry and said, Wu Chenshin, don't cry thief and play some clown tricks. You took Lin Yi's wallet, didn't you? You don't have money to pay the bill. I gave the money to the doorman. Wu Chenshin felt very aggrieved when he thought about it. Do you think I will believe it? Sun Jinggai felt relieved. Let you show off? Is it okay now? I'm busy. That's all for now. Bye. Sun Jinggai hung up the phone rudely, then turned off her phone, leaving Wu Chenshin to fend for himself. Jinggai Wu Chenshin called a few times, but the other party had already hung up. He quickly called again, but the receiver came with a prompt tone that said the number you dialed is powered off. Wu Chenshin wanted to cry, but there were no tears. Master, big brother, buddy, you saw my friend and you don't believe it, Wu Chenshin said with a bitter face. Don't pretend, I don't even know if you called or not, and you even gave the tip to the doorman. Keep making it up, keep making it up. The taxi driver looked at him with disdain. I've seen a lot of scammers like you. Do you want to go to the police station to talk? No, brother, then let me think about it. Wu Chenshin waved his hands quickly, because going to the police station for such a small matter and letting others know that the young master of the Wu family couldn't afford the taxi fare would be humiliating. In Songjiang City, the only person he knew was Sun Jinggai. Suddenly, Wu Chenshin remembered that his aunt and uncle seemed to have brought Grandpa Liu here for medical treatment. However, he had just returned to China and did not write down the mobile phone number, because if he called home to inquire about this matter, he would probably be embarrassed. Thinking of this, Wu Chenshin could only say, brother, look at my mobile phone, it's an Apple. It cost 4 or 5,000 when I bought it. How about I use it as your taxi fare, Apple? The taxi driver took a look at Wu Chenshin's mobile phone. Is this thing real or fake? Knockoffs are only 200 or 300, and a second-hand one is worth dozens of yuan. Brother, this is the real thing. Take a look if you don't believe me. Wu Chenshin handed the phone to the taxi driver. The taxi driver fiddled with it for a long time and nodded reluctantly. I believe you for the time being. That's it, go away. Wu Chenshin got off the car with infinite humiliation. When had he ever been so down and out? Damn it, just because of that kid Lin Yi, I must investigate him thoroughly and teach him a lesson. Some people get into trouble because of their own reasons, but they just put the blame on others. Wu Chenshin is such a person. He felt that if it weren't for Lin Yi today, his relationship with Sun Jinggai wouldn't have become so strained, and he wouldn't have forgotten to bring his wallet. Hey, that's not right. When I went to the bar before, I paid for the taxi. My wallet was still there at that time. Could it be that I forgot it in the taxi in a hurry? Thinking of this, Wu Chenshin began to search all over his body, almost taking off his pants. Chu Mengyao was upset about Lin Yi chatting up an aunt at first, but after Wu Chenshin came, he gradually saw the clues. Lin Yi was pulled by that woman to be a temporary shield. This made Chu Mengyao breathe a sigh of relief, but secretly a little unhappy. Why? You are my shield, but now you are pulled away by another woman. What's going on? However, Chu Mengyao was too embarrassed to intervene, while Chen Yushu looked like she was enjoying the show, leaving her helpless and unable to do anything but watch Lin Yi's performance. Seeing that Lin Yi actually accepted 1,000 yuan, she couldn't help but think to herself, Sister Yao, I've discovered that Wrigley brother is quite impressive. Chen Yushu's observations were much more detailed than Chu Mengyao's. That wallet in his hand, he stole it from that man in the suit. Chu Mengyao was speechless. You're quite observant. I'll make him turn it in when he gets home. Confiscate his illegal gains from his part-time job. Great. Chen Yushu nodded in agreement. Then you go ahead and tell him. Seeing Chen Yushu so enthusiastic, Chu Mengyao assigned her the task. Huh? Chen Yushu was stunned. Sister Yao, we haven't ordered anything to drink yet. We were just watching the fun. How about we have something to drink first? Chen Yushu, once again using her special skills, changed the subject. Okay, how could Chu Mengyao not know what Chen Yushu was thinking? But she was just saying it casually. Chu Mengyao didn't care about Lin Yi's meager amount of money. She'd said that just now out of anger at him. While he was protecting her at night, he still remembered to make some extra money. Chen Yushu called the waiter over and ordered a few drinks from the menu. They all had strange names. They had never been to a bar before, so they didn't know if they would taste good. The waiter took note of the two people's requests and hesitated slightly. It was obvious that Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu were new to the bar, and their orders were completely random. Anything else? Chen Yushu looked at the waiter with some confusion. Did they have to pay first here? Ladies, would you like someone to chat with you? The waiter, noticing that it was their first time, asked with a tentative attitude. After all, many people came to the bar looking for male escorts. No, okay, Chen Yushu and Chu Mengyao said no and okay, respectively, which surprised the waiter. Sister Yao, you? Chen Yushu looked at Chu Mengyao in confusion, wondering why she was looking for someone to chat with. Isn't that what the saying duck means? Find us a handsome guy, Chu Mengyao ordered the waiter. Okay, please wait. The waiter nodded and retreated respectfully, thinking that these two innocent student girls really came for this purpose. It seems that you really can't judge a person by appearance. Just like the queen just now, and these two lady waitresses only regretted that they were not handsome enough, otherwise they would have gotten such a good thing. Sister Yao, why did you call a handsome guy? After the waiter left, Chen Yushu became a little anxious. Sister Yao, you don't want to try special services, do you? No, you are still young. What if you bleed a lot, Zia Oshu? Chu Mengyao couldn't help but knock on her head as she listened to Chen Yushu's increasingly nonsensical and obscene words. What are you thinking about? Lin Yi can find beautiful women, why can't we find handsome men? Chapter 159 The Confused Miss. Chen Yushu thought about it carefully, and it was really the case. It seems that Sister Yao is really jealous of Brother Arrow, otherwise, how could she come up with such a trick? However, will this work? Not long after, the waiter came over with a pretty boy dressed in cream. In the waiter's opinion, these schoolgirls don't like the kind of tough guys with rough physiques, they all like fresh meat with a creamier look. Excuse me, ladies, are you satisfied with this? The waiter bent down and asked. Chu Mengyao was speechless. Even with such a look, could it make Lin Yi angry? It seems that she is not as good looking as Lin Yi. What a shabby shop. She looks like this and still comes out to be a gigolo. Isn't it shameful? No wonder the aunt just now went to find Lin Yi instead of the male escorts in the bar. If you are still satisfied, here is the price list. The waiter handed a small price tag to Chu Mengyao. Alright, no need to look, I get it, Chu Mengyao said gloomily, pointing at the pretty boy. Just sit over there. Then, she stole a glance at Lin Yi, only to see him still nonchalantly playing with his glass of red wine. The pretty boy was overjoyed today. Seeing Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu, both of whom were truly one in a million beauties, he was thrilled to have such a good thing happen to him. Ladies, you look like you're in school, right? Seeing Chu Mengyao silent, the pretty boy thought she was shy, so he spoke first. Shut up. Will you die if you sit there and don't say anything? Chu Mengyao was a little annoyed by Lin Yi's attitude. Why didn't this guy react at all when she called him duck? But how should he react? For a moment, Chu Mengyao was a little confused. Yes, she was the eldest daughter, and he was her follower. He was only responsible for taking care of her study and life, and occasionally acting as a temporary bodyguard and guest shield. He had no right to interfere in her private life. And why should she care so much about his thoughts? What exactly did she want to do by calling a handsome guy over? To piss off Lin Yi? But why should she be pissed off with him? Who is he to her? Would he be angry if she did this? Was she out of her mind? She actually did such an idiotic thing? Even if she went to get a room with this handsome guy, Lin Yi would only follow behind not far away, right? Thinking of this, Chu Mengyao suddenly felt discouraged. She was really stupid, so stupid that it was a little ridiculous. While Chu Mengyao was hesitating, the handsome man was also depressed. He thought that he could win the beauty tonight. Not to mention not giving money, he would be happy to give him change. These two were top-notch. However, before he could realize his idea, he was startled by Chu Mengyao's vicious roar and sat there obediently. Although he wanted to hug the two girls and go to get a room, he didn't dare to do anything wrong in the bar. He was just chatting with them in name. The wolves in the bar were very distressed when they saw Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu actually called a male escort over. They didn't expect that these two came here to seek excitement. If they had known earlier, they wouldn't have asked them to call a male escort. They would have gone straight to him. Most of the perverts, especially those who were good-looking, beat their chests and stamped their feet. Lin Yi looked at Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu, wondering what they were going to do. Calling a male escort. Instead of doing that, it would be better to ask him to go, and he could make some extra money. He just made 1,000 yuan by chatting with Sun Jinggai for a while, and also got a big wallet. It seems that this career has great potential. Behind the bar, in a darkened room, a man quietly observed the goings-on inside, his gaze fixed on Chu Mengyao's and Lin Yi's tables. Was that the duck Chu Mengyao called? The man asked, a bit incredulous, looking at the bar manager, Xuanyuan, beside him. Yes, Brother Chihua, Xuanyuan nodded cautiously. I didn't expect Miss Chu to like this. No wonder she has a bodyguard with her, This man was the infamous Li Chihua in Songshan City, also known as Brother Chihua, a figure who teetered on the brink of right and wrong. However, anyone with a discerning eye knew he was merely a frontman. The real power lay in the person behind him. Without his background and status as a released prisoner, Li Chihua's rise to prominence in Songshan City would have been a difficult task. If it weren't for the person behind him, his activities would have long been closely monitored by the police. It seems Miss Chu doesn't really like that gigolo. Li Chihua noticed Chu Mengyao's indifference towards the male escort and said calmly, "Didn't you see the table next to them? That's Miss Chu's personal bodyguard, much better looking than that gigolo. Then should I switch to someone else?" Xuanyuan asked cautiously. "No need, I guess they're just trying something new," Li Chihua thought lasciviously. It seemed Chu Mengyao was quite a slut. She had a man at home, yet she was still messing around, and even had her own man with her. I felt so bad for that man. What was his name? Oh, right, it was Lin Yi. It looked like he had to have a good talk with him and tell him not to ruin his plans. Brother Chihua, what should we do now? Xuanyuan didn't know how to respond to Brother Chihua's words. He didn't know much about the above matters, so he just had to follow Li Chihua's instructions. Go stir up some trouble with Miss Chu, test Lin Yi's abilities, and then I'll make my move. Li Chihua thought for a moment and said, "Okay." Xuanyuan, a veteran of this sort of thing, nodded and went to make the arrangements. Chu Mengyao felt like a fool. She didn't know what had gone wrong before, ordering a duck. If Daddy knew, he'd be so disappointed in her. And Uncle Fu and the classmates were just so embarrassed. Seeing Lin Yi having a good time with a beautiful woman, Chu Mengyao had been furious. She'd nodded in agreement when the waiter recommended it, but now it was too late to regret it. Chu Mengyao had regained her composure. Lin Yi was just her henchman, so how could he be angry? And why should she be angry with him? Could it be that Xiaoshu really liked Lin Yi as he said? How could that be possible? Absolutely not. This man was so annoying, so fickle. Even if she were blind, she wouldn't like him. But what if she wasn't? Chu Mengyao had not thought of this situation yet. Chapter 160 The Waiting Person. "Two beautiful ladies, may I have the honor of sitting here and buying you a drink?" Chu Mengyao was feeling anxious and worried when she heard someone talking next to her. Turning around, she saw a very refined man. To be called refined meant impeccable, and not just some pretty face. He had a nice figure, tall and well-proportioned, with a handsome face, giving off a clean, classy vibe. He wore a casual suit with buttons undone, giving off a casual, cool vibe. This kind of man could definitely be called a girl killer. However, Chu Mengyao had no interest in him at all. She was already feeling confused, and now another person had appeared to add to the chaos. Just as she was unsure how to deal with the duck, she rolled her eyes, pointed at the pretty boy, and said, "Don't you see there's another man here?" Chu Mengyao had intended for the two of them to argue, but to her surprise, the pretty boy immediately stood up upon seeing the refined man, as if he were afraid of him. He turned and walked away without a word. Chu Mengyao was speechless. What kind of person is this? How cowardly. Someone like him is actually a gigolo. Haha, miss, he's already made room. The handsome man smiled faintly and sat down in the seat previously occupied by the pretty boy, raising his glass of red wine. Want a drink together? Chu Mengyao wasn't stupid. Since the pretty boy had readily made room for this handsome man, it meant he was a regular at this bar and knew him. And this handsome man clearly had some influence, otherwise he wouldn't have walked away so cowardly. Turning to look at Xuanyuan, she saw she was looking back at her. It seemed they were on the same page. This handsome man was going to be tough. It was their first time at the bar, and they didn't want to cause any trouble. If word got to Chu Pengzhan, they'd definitely get scolded. "Sorry, we drove here," Chu Mengyao replied coldly, not wanting to engage in further conversation with the handsome man. If he had any self-awareness, he would have gotten up and left by now. "Oh? How come I didn't see that?" The refined man seemed completely unconcerned with Chu Mengyao's displeasure. "That man who left earlier, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the male escorts here, right?" Chu Mengyao could only snort when Xuanyuan remained silent. This girl, all she knew how to do was goof around with him at home, but when she encountered danger outside, she kept quiet. Chu Mengyao was furious. "So, you two ladies are here for some excitement, aren't you?" The refined man lost his previous politeness and began to speak bluntly. "Let's be frank. Instead of spending money for excitement, why don't you two? I think I can satisfy your needs. What did you say? Chu Mengyao's face flushed. What did he mean? I'm still a virgin, okay? Seeking excitement, she leaned to the side, feeling that coming to the bar had been a mistake. Don't pretend. Why are you pretending with me? The refined man said, unceremoniously reaching out to touch Chu Mengyao's shoulders, wanting to kiss her. Chu Mengyao was a little anxious and hurriedly dodged. Chen Yushu hadn't expected this handsome man to actually attack directly. She turned to look at Lin Yi. Huh? Where was Lin Yi? Snap! Before the handsome man's hand could even touch Chu Mengyao, it was caught in midair and blocked. That's right, stop pretending. Who sent you here? Tell the person behind you to come out. Lin Yi grabbed the handsome man's arm and said coldly. Although the handsome man looked delicate, he was no gigolo. On the contrary, he was very powerful. He was one of Li Chihu's right-hand men, and his hands had killed people. Lin Yi could sense this from his aura, but ordinary people might not be able to detect it. This was also the reason why Lin Yi grabbed the handsome man as soon as he attacked. Who knew if this guy would harm Chu Mengyao? The handsome man's scalp tingled. Although he was talking nonsense to Chu Mengyao, his eyes were always fixed on Lin Yi. He had previously seen Lin Yi seemingly oblivious to his own affairs, leading him to brazenly reach out and take advantage. But he hadn't expected Lin Yi to appear behind him the next moment, grabbing his hand. As the saying goes, an expert knows a man's strength the moment he makes a move. The refined man was already a master, and Lin Yi's speed had him completely unaware, already standing behind him. This had the refined man sweating profusely. Fast, was the refined man's sole feeling. He had already reached the strength of an early yellow rank, vastly superior to an average person. Even at the early yellow rank, he possessed the strength of a regular special forces soldier. But the refined man sensed that Lin Yi's strength was probably even greater than his own. If he was right, he was probably mid-yellow rank, though this was merely his own guess. While Lin Yi appeared to be sitting there doing nothing, he had actually been on high alert from the start. As they left the villa area and turned the corner, a black Buick followed them from a distance. Although the Buick's tracking technology was sophisticated, it couldn't hide from Lin Yi. This kind of tracking method might work in the city, but on the battlefield, it would be a dead end. Of course, Lin Yi didn't bother to pay attention to the Buick until it made any other drastic moves. It seemed the Buick had been parked at the corner, waiting for an opportunity to follow them. The villa area had 24-hour surveillance, so they could only park at the corner just outside the villa area. After Chen Yushu parked her car in front of the powerful floating cloud bar, the Buick simply circled the entrance without stopping before quickly driving away. This made Lin Yi suspicious. If these people were following Chu Mengyao, even if they didn't enter the bar, they should have parked near it, waiting for their next move. But they didn't. Of course, Lin Yi didn't think these people had nothing better to do than to follow her halfway and then turn back. The only possibility was that they had someone in the bar, so they didn't need to continue following them. It was quite a coincidence, though, that someone from their group was actually in the bar Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu had chosen. So after entering the bar, Lin Yi remained vigilant. He didn't believe they would easily let this opportunity slip away and not take advantage of it to cause trouble. As Lin Yi expected, after the exquisite man appeared and saw his actions, he was completely certain. This person was the one he had been waiting for, the person from the other side. Chapter 161 Strength Division. Chapter 0161, Strength Division. Lin Yi's reason for such certainty was simple. Regardless of the male escort's cowardice or lack thereof, perhaps he didn't want to offend the refined man, the customer. He represented the bar, he was a member of the bar. Even if the refined man was more assertive, he wouldn't have dismissed the male escort outright out of respect for the bar. At the very least, he should have given him a tip as compensation, to save face. However, upon seeing the refined man, the male escort simply stood up and left without a word. This indicated that the refined man was most likely a member of the bar, hence his unhesitating departure. With this certainty in mind, Lin Yi didn't bother to play tricks on the refined man. Beating him up was easy, but in the middle of the other bar, Lin Yi didn't want to resort to such crude and brute force. While he could beat up one person, or even a group, that would expose his strength in public. While not his full strength, doing so would likely provoke even more ferocious follow-up measures from the other party. These people were different from Zhong Pinliang and Zhu Ruiming at school. Lin Yi could sense that even Chu Pengzhan was wary of the people who were dealing with Chu Mengyao. Because it wasn't just one person, but a powerful group, what had surfaced was likely just the tip of the iceberg. So, Lin Yi simply exposed the refined man's motives and let the person behind him speak directly. This way, he wouldn't reveal his own strength too early, and he could also gauge their strength. So far, Lin Yi had only demonstrated speed, including when he parried gunfire in the bank and stole a gun from a car, without revealing his true strength. And just now, when he stood up and grabbed the refined man's arm, Lin Yi's timing was precise, using a strength only slightly higher than his, misleading him. Modern people categorize martial arts into 4 levels: heaven, earth, mysterious, and yellow. Each level is further divided into early, middle, and late stages. In reality, this is just a general classification for assessing strength. Different families practice different techniques, so 2 people at the same early yellow stage might have some subtle differences in strength, but they're unlikely to be significant. Lin Yi learned this from his time in the special forces, but neither his old man nor his master used this level to categorize strength. The old man focused on physical training, commonly known as external martial arts, but it involved using traditional Chinese medicine he concocted to transform the body. His master, on the other hand, focused on assassination. While physical training was required initially, it primarily relied on sneak attacks and speed. Thanks to the old man's training, Lin Yi's current strength was roughly comparable to that of a late-stage Wang-rank cultivator. However, with the ability to perform assassinations and surprise attacks, he could potentially take down a Xuan-rank expert. Experts of this caliber were rare in the city. At least on the battlefield, Lin Yi had only encountered one such master, a foreigner. The Xuanyuan Yulong Jue that Lin Yi practiced was somewhat similar to the internal martial arts practiced by some families, but so far, the improvement in strength from the first level had not been very noticeable. Practicing the Xuanyuan Yulong Jue only had some marrow cleansing and physical improvement effects. Old man Lin's traditional Chinese medicine treatments only altered muscles and had no effect on internal organs. However, the Xuanyuan Yulong Jue was different, it could transform the entire body. So far, Lin Yi had only discovered the Xuanyuan Yulong Jue's overwhelming effectiveness in combating fatigue. He had just discovered that the internal energy elements could be beneficial for those suffering from illness. Furthermore, while the Xuanyuan Yulong Jue was miraculous, it was only at the first level, and the improvement in strength was not significant. However, there was one most noticeable improvement, a discovery that surprised Lin Yi. He could sense the energy fluctuations from the exquisite man. This was something he had never experienced before. Although he had fought against Wang-level and even Zhuan-level masters on the battlefield, he could only determine their strength after a fight. However, after completing the initial level of the Xuanyuan Yulong Jue, Lin Yi could actually sense the energy fluctuations from the exquisite man, similar to the ones he had absorbed. He must be a practitioner of internal martial arts, but it was unknown what kind of cultivation technique he practiced. The energy fluctuations within his body were weaker than his own, suggesting he was at the early yellow rank. So Lin Yi created the illusion that he was slightly stronger, misleading him into thinking he was at the peak of the early yellow rank, about to break through to the middle rank. Of course, there were exceptions. Lin Yi could sense that Wu Chenshin was a physical cultivator, primarily focused on his martial arts skills. However, there were no energy fluctuations within a physical cultivator, making it impossible for Lin Yi to determine his level. Perhaps Wu Chenshin was simply too weak, so weak that the energy within him was negligible. The refined man was surprised that Lin Yi would suddenly reveal the existence of someone else behind him, completely disrupting his plans. His original plan was to come here and engage Chu Mengyao, angering them. Lin Yi would then undoubtedly intervene, allowing him to gauge Lin Yi's strength. If he wasn't as strong as him, he would take the opportunity to teach him a lesson, and then the boss would intervene. But now, Lin Yi's strength was no less than the refined man's. The two were probably on par, perhaps even slightly stronger. Further probing was pointless. However, even after Lin Yi suggested that the boss come out, the refined man couldn't make a decision. As he hesitated, the phone at his waist began to ring. Damn it! Who's calling at this critical moment? The refined man felt like cursing. Lin Yi was still holding his arm, and the two of them were on edge. If he answered the phone now, what if Lin Yi was playing a trick on him? He'd be screwed. The refined man didn't dare to be careless. Against a master of Lin Yi's level, he had no guarantee of victory. Whoever lost their focus or compromised first would suffer a heavy loss. Answer the phone. If it calls at this time, I think it must be the person behind you. Lin Yi smiled at the refined man and released his arm, as if he wasn't afraid of him turning against him. The refined man didn't expect Lin Yi to let him go so easily. He gave Lin Yi a deep look and fished out his phone from his waist, but his eyes never left Lin Yi. Although Lin Yi acted magnanimously, the refined man instinctively felt that Lin Yi was a mean and sinister person. I glanced at the caller ID on the phone screen and saw that it was indeed Brother Chihua calling. Chapter 162 I'm sorry. Chapter 0162, sorry, 5 more chapters. Request for monthly pass. Hello, boss. The refined man didn't call out Brother Chihua directly, because he wasn't sure if Brother Chihua would reveal his identity to Lin Yi. Give the phone to Lin Yi, I'll talk to him. Li Shihua's voice came from the receiver. Oh, okay. The exquisite man was slightly stunned, then agreed and said to Lin Yi, it's our boss's call, can you answer it? Lin Yi smiled and took the phone from the exquisite man's hand. Go ahead, Lin Yi. Right. Li Shihua didn't expect Lin Yi to be so bold, but he had seen all the situation outside from the camera. Lin Yi's speed was indeed very fast, and from the exquisite man's cautious state, Li Shihua could judge that Lin Yi should also be a master. As for how powerful this person was, he was not sure for the time being. I'm Li Shihua. I believe you should have heard of my name. Oh, I have. I often hear it during the Chinese New Year. I've also heard of firecrackers and skyrockets, Lin Yi said. By the way, there are also firecrackers. Li Shihua was speechless for a while. This kid thought he was a firecracker? Damn, in Songshan City, there are really not many people who don't know my name. Li Shihua. Li Shihua felt like laughing, a sarcastic laugh of course. He wanted to laugh at Lin Yi, a man who had no idea how high the heavens were and how deep the earth was. After hearing his name, he still had the leisure to joke around and tell some jokes. Was he just a newborn calf who was not afraid of tigers? Or was he just ignorant and fearless? Haha, Mr. Lin really knows how to joke, Li Shihua said with a faint smile. Come in, let's talk. I believe you want to see me too, don't you? Sorry, I don't have any ideas, Lin Yi said. If you want to see me, just come out. Don't hide, haha, Li Shihua laughed again. Mr. Lin, I know you're worried. There's no need to deny it. You're worried about the safety of Chu Mengyao and the others, right? Lin Yi didn't answer, but it was undeniable that Li Shihua was right. If it was just Lin Yi coming alone, Li Shihua would have dared to go through fire and water for him, but with Chu Mengyao and Shen Yashu here, Lin Yi couldn't just abandon them. Mr. Lin, you can rest assured about this. There are some things that you may doubt or be certain of, but as long as they are not made public, no one in Songshan City can do anything to me, Li Shihua said very proudly. But, if Chu Mengyao gets into trouble in my bar, then, haha, even the people behind me can't protect me. Besides, there is another girl next to her who is very troublesome. I don't want to be demolished by her brother and his men. It has to be admitted that this Li Shihua has some courage. At this point, the words have basically been made clear. Lin Yi naturally knew Li Shihua's name. After Li Shihua said his name, Lin Yi instantly thought of the brother Chihua mentioned by the bald man in the robber's car. If nothing unexpected happened, the two should be the same person. However, judging by Li Shihua's words, he had already admitted to the previous incident, and he seemed completely unfazed, not even afraid of Lin Yi finding out. This clearly demonstrated the power of his backers. If Lin Yi was right, they were probably on the same level as Chu Pengzhan, or even more powerful. Now that things had come to this, Li Shihua had made his position clear. Lin Yi really should go meet him. Lin Yi also believed Li Shihua's words. They probably wouldn't dare attack Chu Mengyao in this bar. After all, the public security in Songshan City wasn't that bad. If something happened to Chu Mengyao in this powerful floating cloud bar, Li Shihua would be in a difficult position to explain. People at a certain level often take these things very seriously. With or without evidence, it's one thing to do, and quite another. When things are kept secret, the appearance is fine, but once it's brought to light, it becomes a completely different matter. Despite saying so, Lin Yi couldn't completely trust Li Shihua. Okay, I'll get someone to send Miss Chu back first, and then I'll go over, haha. So Mr. Lin still doesn't trust me? I'm very disappointed. Li Shihua naturally understood Lin Yi's concerns. In my opinion, Mr. Lin is a great man. You're really losing points with me by doing this, whatever you think, Lin Yi said, without further ado, simply hanging up. Hello? 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 Holy crap, Li Shihua kept trying to get him to respond, only to find the line had been disconnected. She was speechless. Most young people would likely give in if she provoked them a few times. After all, young people are all about prestige. Besides, he really had no feelings for Chu Mengyao. If something went wrong in the bar, it would be hard to deny his involvement. He would be in big trouble, and it could even affect the overall situation of the person behind the scenes. Unexpectedly, Lin Yi didn't seem to buy it at all. He didn't care what she said about him. With a simple whatever you think, he hung up the phone, leaving Li Chihua's pride in a state of shock. Young people nowadays really don't know their place. Li Chihua thought with pity, HMPH, Lin Yi, if you just cooperate with me, then everything will be fine. If you don't, then I'm sorry, I don't dare to kill Chu Mengyao, but I believe no one will stand up for you if I kill a small figure like you and a bodyguard. Lin Yi hung up the phone and threw the phone to the exquisite man. Go back and tell your master that I'll be there soon. The exquisite man had just heard the conversation between Lin Yi and Li Chihua, so after taking the phone, he didn't say much, got up and left silently. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu also knew that they had gotten into trouble. Chu Mengyao lowered her head and didn't dare to look at Lin Yi. To be honest, she didn't know what she was thinking in her heart. On the one hand, she hated Lin Yi a little bit, but on the other hand, she felt a little grateful and didn't hate him. I'll call Uncle Fu and ask him to pick you up, Lin Yi said, and took out his mobile phone to call Uncle Fu. Lin Yi, can you please not tell Uncle Fu? We can go back on our own. We didn't drink. Chu Mengyao felt a little guilty when she heard that Lin Yi wanted to find Uncle Fu. How? Lin Yi smiled faintly. Today's events were no longer a trivial matter. It was impossible to hide this from Chu Pengzhan. This included his meeting with Li Chihua. Lin Yi also had to talk to Chu Pengzhan, so he couldn't meet Chu Mengyao's request. Lin Yi, I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. Please don't call Uncle Fu anymore. Chu Mengyao pursed her lips and lowered her head in front of Lin Yi for the first time. This incident was all caused by her. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 163 Lin Yi's Golden Finger. Chapter 0163 Lin Yi's Golden Finger. Vote for the month. Chu Mengyao wasn't stupid. If she'd previously thought the refined man was trying to take advantage, now, after listening to the conversation between Lin Yi and the refined man's boss, she understood that these people were deliberately targeting her. Miss Chu, I must be responsible for your safety. Lin Yi, changing his usual nonchalant demeanor, spoke seriously. I won't be at ease until Uncle Fu takes you back safely, but, Chu Mengyao hadn't expected Lin Yi to reject her so harshly after her apology, and she felt a little embarrassed. This was the first time she had bowed to him, but Chu Mengyao was a little annoyed, but she also knew that Lin Yi was concerned for her and Xiao Shu's safety, so she stamped her feet and, for once, refrained from mocking Lin Yi. Normally, Chu Mengyao would have been furious. I've already admitted my mistake. What else do you want? And it all started with you. If you hadn't been flirting with an older woman, how could I have found a male escort? In Chu Mengyao's eyes, Sun Jinggai had become an older woman. Lin Yi had already called Uncle Fu and told him the location. After hearing it, Uncle Fu said he would come over immediately. Chen Yashu stuck out her tongue. Brother Arrow, this is actually the first time that Sister Yao and I have come to a bar. Oh, there's something wrong with this bar. Let's go to another one next time. Lin Yi nodded and said nothing. There was nothing wrong with Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu coming to the bar to play. It was rare for girls from such rich families to come to a bar for the first time. As for their weird behavior of calling male escorts, Lin Yi was just speechless. In fact, both Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu were not bad people at heart. Miss Chu was a little proud and self-respecting, cold on the outside but warm on the inside. Miss Chen was a complete troublemaker, but very easygoing. After spending a long time with them, Lin Yi no longer had the resistance and coping feeling he had when he first came. After hearing Lin Yi say they could come next time, it seemed as if he wasn't angry at all about causing trouble this time at the bar. Chen Yushu was a little surprised and blinked. "Brother Arrow, you're not angry. Why should I be angry?" Lin Yi smiled. "You two should go back and rest early. I have some things to take care of, so I might not be back until late. Don't wait for me." "Oh, then be careful." Chen Yushu nodded. Chu Mengyao watched Lin Yi and Chen Yushu chatting casually, feeling a little uncomfortable. Why did Xiaoshu and him seem to get along so well, while there seemed to be something between her and Lin Yi? But what did it matter whether they got along? He was clearly her dad's hired lackey. Even if they didn't, he still had to listen to her. Why should she be upset? Uncle Fu arrived quickly, and not alone. He was followed by several people. They were all martial artists, but they all specialized in external martial arts. Their strength wasn't very strong, enough to deal with ordinary people, but they were no match for the delicate man from before. Mr. Lin, I'm sorry to bother you. Uncle Fu nodded at Lin Yi. "Aren't you coming with us? I have something to do here," Lin Yi said. "Uncle Fu, please take them away first. I'll talk to Uncle Chu about this later." "Okay." Uncle Fu said nothing more and left the bar with Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. He knew that unless Lin Yi had something urgent to do, he wouldn't have asked him to come and take them away. It would be better for him to accompany them back himself. It was clear that Lin Yi had something going on, but since he didn't say anything, Uncle Fu didn't want to ask any more questions. After watching Uncle Fu and Chu Mengyao leave the bar, Lin Yi stood up and walked in the direction the handsome man had left. As he crossed the bar, he saw the handsome man and a rather plain-looking man already waiting there. "Mr. Lin, I'm Xuanyuan, the bar manager. I'm very sorry for what happened earlier," the plain-looking man said as he saw Lin Yi approaching. "Stop talking nonsense. Where's Li Chihua?" Lin Yi interrupted him directly. He didn't want to hear such nonsense at all. Xuanyuan blushed slightly at Lin Yi's interruption, a hint of irritation on his face, but he quickly regained his composure. "Mr. Lin, please follow me." The man before him was the one the boss wanted to invite, and since Li Yao, the delicate man, had just said that Lin Yi's abilities were comparable to his, Xuanyuan didn't dare act rashly. Lin Yi followed Xuanyuan and Li Yao to the door of an office. Xuanyuan knocked, and the voice of Li Chihua, the one he'd heard on the phone, echoed from inside. "Come in." Xuanyuan opened the door and gestured. "Mr. Lin, please come in. The boss is waiting inside." Lin Yi walked straight into the room. Inside sat a paunchy man. Behind him stood a skinny, skeleton-like man. He looked so ordinary that no one would even give him a second glance. He would be instantly unnoticed in a crowd. However, Lin Yi's expression froze. The energy fluctuations emanating from the skeleton man faintly surpassed what he considered to be the peak of the late yellow rank. "Master Jiao, I can sense their energy fluctuations. Can they sense mine?" Lin Yi suddenly thought of a crucial question. "Is this induction mutual?" "No," Master Jiao said calmly. "The way he absorbs energy is different from yours. Theirs is called Gen Qi. Each cultivation technique produces a different Gen Qi, which can only be used by himself and cannot be passed on to others. The energy in your body, however, is universal." "I see. This means that the energy in my body can also be converted into the Gen Qi he needs. Is that correct?" Lin Yi asked. "That's the theory," Master Jiao said in a teachable tone. "That's why you can sense his, but he can't sense yours." Lin Yi was delighted by the satisfactory answer. It seemed he could now pretend to be a pig and eat the tiger. He could clearly see others' strength while they couldn't see his own. This was simply a superb golden finger. If he saw that the opponent was too strong and he couldn't defeat him, he would just run away. Lin Yi's gaze rested on the skeleton man for only a moment. The skeleton man gave Lin Yi a faint smile. In his opinion, Lin Yi was only at the peak of the early yellow rank. Normally, he had restrained his aura, so Lin Yi would not be able to see his strength. So the skeleton man didn't care, thinking that Lin Yi was just taking a casual look. Chapter 164 Who is stupid and who is naive? Seeking a recommendation vote, please sit down. The pot-bellied man glanced at Lin Yi and spoke to him with an air of superiority. This person must be Li Chihua. As he spoke, Lin Yi was observing him carefully. Li Chihua's first impression on Lin Yi was one of dominance, his superior arrogance and confidence evident. It had to be said that his public image was quite successful. This was called a kingly aura. A less powerful person might appear cautious and fearful in his presence. However, Lin Yi had seen many people with this kind of kingly aura. Few were still alive, and those who had a hostile relationship with him had basically traveled through time or been reborn. Lin Yi simply ignored Li Chihu and casually walked around the office. He glanced at the skeleton man and asked, "Is this your mistress?" Li Chihu was speechless, staring at him with his eyes wide open, almost cursing. Why didn't Lin Yi play by the rules? His original plan was to get Lin Yi to sit down, then use coercion and bribery to see if he could win him over. If so, he'd win him over, if not, he'd get rid of him. But Lin Yi didn't sit down. Instead, he asked a question that infuriated Li Chihu. "What kind of look is that? Does a little me look like that?" Coughing twice, Li Chihu said, "Mr. Lin's eyes don't look very good. This is my secretary, a male secretary." "Oh, so brother Chihu likes that?" Lin Yi nodded in sudden realization. "Hey, fatty, you don't have any intentions towards me, do you?" "Shit." Li Chihu was going crazy. He'd felt quite comfortable hearing Lin Yi call him brother Chihu before, thinking he was quite tactful and knew he was a brother. But the rest of the sentence was no longer so fitting. What did he mean by like that? And the fact that he had gone from brother Chihu to fatty completely blew Li Chihu away, and she finally couldn't help but curse. "Haha, just a joke, don't be angry." Lin Yi smiled and sat on the sofa opposite Li Chihu. Lin Yi had said those words before on purpose, with the purpose of annoying Li Chihu and challenging his bottom line. Only when he lost his mind would he reveal more of his thoughts in the following conversation. Now it seemed that his goal had been achieved, so Lin Yi naturally stopped talking nonsense with him. Li Chihu frowned. "Mr. Lin, since you can come here, let's not beat around the bush, just say it straight." Lin Yi had done so much preparation before, with the purpose of letting Li Chihu speak directly, so as not to beat around the bush with him. Those words before were also a warning to Li Chihu that if he wanted to beat around the bush and talk nonsense, he was better than him. Straightforward, Li Chihu said, "Let's just say it straight. Were you the one who interfered with the previous bank kidnapping case? Do I need to interfere?" Lin Yi said with some disdain. "Those guys are rubbish." "What? They are your people?" To Lin Yi's surprise, Li Chihu nodded very straightforwardly. "Indeed, I didn't take into account the existence of Mr. Lin. It was a mistake to send those people." "Oh? You mean, you are the mastermind behind the bank kidnapping case?" Lin Yi was a little surprised that Li Chihu would directly admit that he did it. "I'm just one of the interested parties," Li Chihu said. "Mr. Lin doesn't need to know the details. The more he knows, the faster he will die." "Oh, are you scaring me?" Lin Yi didn't care about Li Chihu's threat. "Aren't you afraid that I will report you to the police?" "Haha." Li Chihu looked at Lin Yi with a stupid look. "Since I said it, I'm naturally not afraid of you calling the police." "Really?" Lin Yi looked at Li Chihu with a smile. "If you don't believe me, you can try." Li Chihu waved her hand. "Evidence? No evidence. Words are useless, and I won't leave any evidence." "Lin Yi, I have to say you're very foolish and naive. When it comes to the struggles between people at our level, the only people who can be dragged into it are small fry. Do you think the police don't know what I'm doing?" "No, they do. They know it better than you do. But they can't touch me." "Why?" "Because they can't afford to offend the people behind me, and they don't have enough evidence to touch me." "You mean, if I killed you, and the police had no evidence, your death would be in vain?" Lin Yi asked. "Although your analogy is funny, I can tell you that if you really killed me, and you were smart enough to leave no evidence, as long as Chu Pengzhan was standing behind you, no one could do anything to you." Li Chihu said, "This is the rule of struggle in high society. No one will actively break the rules." "Oh, I get it." Lin Yi nodded, cursing inwardly. "Idiot, you're still smiling so happily? Brother, I can kill you like it's a piece of cake. But since you said that, I can't kill you either. After I kill you, the person behind you will definitely not let it go." Lin Yi is now considering the overall situation. Before Chu Pengzhan launches an all-out offensive, Lin Yi will not act rashly. He can attack some important figures of the enemy and give them a warning, but it is a bit premature to kill them. "As long as you understand this principle, I won't waste my words or beat around the bush," Li Chihu said. "As the saying goes, a man of insight is a hero. I think Mr. Lin understands that it's easy for us to kill you. While you were alive, Chu Pengzhan might have relied on you, but now that you're dead, do you think he will stand up for a bodyguard or even his daughter's mistress?" If he knew about you and his daughter, wouldn't he wish you were dead? Lin Yi looked at Li Chihua, his spit flying, with contempt. This kid was so despicable, he actually imagined the relationship between him and Chu Mengyao to be so filthy and complicated. Was he a thief? Looking at Li Chihua, who thought he knew the inside story, Lin Yi felt that he was pitiful, sad, and foolish. People who think they see the truth but know nothing are the most foolish people. What do you want to say? Lin Yi didn't refute Li Chihua's words. He let a misunderstanding go. Since he misunderstood the relationship between him and Chu Mengyao, that was even better. He would have a more compelling reason to attack him in the future. If you touch my woman, I'll touch your entire family. Cooperate with us, Li Chihua said confidently. Cooperate with you? Lin Yi was stunned this time. He hadn't expected Li Chihua to say that. Chapter 165 Threats and Counter-Threats. I am a spokesperson who is pushed to the front, Li Chihua said with some pride. You should be very clear about my status and reputation in Songshan City. From this point, you can also see how powerful the boss behind me is. I can brag, too, Lin Yi said. I said my master is the king of assassins in the world. Do you believe it? Li Chihua naturally didn't believe it, rolled his eyes. Okay, then let's not talk about that, let's talk about you. Why are you with Chu Mengyao? Isn't it for money? As for her lust, Chu Mengyao is indeed very beautiful, but that kind of green little girl, how can a mature woman know how to serve people? With money, what kind of women don't you have? Lin Yi listened to Li Chihua continue. Let's talk about our cooperation, Li Chihua said. Our boss has never been short of money. If you cooperate with us, then you will get more than just money. After the deal is done, beauties and status will be at your fingertips. Just like me. Are you awesome? Lin Yi wanted to laugh, but couldn't. It was pathetic. This guy was so pathetic, thinking he was so great just by being a pawn. Lin Yi was too lazy to criticize him anymore. How do you want to cooperate? Let me help you? Or play infernal affairs? Lin Yi asked. Anything, as long as you're willing, Li Chihua said. Your skills shouldn't be any weaker than Li Yao's. Right, who is Li Yao? Lin Yi didn't know the exquisite man's name. The guy whose arm you grabbed earlier, Li Chihua explained. Maybe. Lin Yi didn't answer the question directly. Your skills are among the best in Songshan City. If you are willing to come and help me, I think the boss will offer a high price after he finds out, Li Chihua said. Of course, you can also continue to be undercover beside Chu Mengyao and continue to enjoy your life of money and beauty. We will also give you some extra money. At the critical moment, you just need to play a key role. You have a good idea, but it is very difficult to put it into practice. After listening, Lin Yi directly refused. First of all, I am very satisfied with my current life. Chu Pengzhan gives me a lot of money, which is enough for me to spend. Secondly, I am quite comfortable now and don't want to take risks in playing difficult tasks such as lurking, so I'm sorry, I don't accept your suggestion, Mr. Lin. I hope you will think about it before you speak, Li Chihua said. Now that I have said this, do you think you still have room for choice? Are you threatening me? Lin Yi raised his head and looked at Li Chihua. You can understand it that way. Li Chihua smiled faintly. Take it as advice, or even a threat. Okay, I get it. Lin Yi stood up. Anything else? If not, I'm leaving. I'm going home to sleep, so do you agree, or don't you? Li Chihua asked. Do you want to think about it? No need to think about it. I won't agree either, Lin Yi said. I've made it very clear. See you later. When you walk out this door, if you haven't changed your mind, I hope you won't regret it. Li Chihua frowned. He didn't expect Lin Yi to be so stubborn. He thought Lin Yi must be bewitched by that little girl Chu Mengyao. Lin Yi's previous words of going home to sleep must have been a hint of this. It had to be said that Li Chihua's thoughts were truly filthy and full of adultery. How? Lin Yi pushed the door open, preparing to leave. Li Chihua's face twisted slightly. Previously, he had been so confident that he had invited Lin Yi to meet him, even going so far as to confess that he was the one responsible for the bank kidnapping, precisely to win over Lin Yi and get him on board. In his view, everyone had their own value, and if he could offer a sufficiently generous reward, Lin Yi would surely abandon Chu Mengyao and join his side. However, Lin Yi didn't even ask for the price, simply rejecting it outright. Li Chihua didn't know whether to overestimate or underestimate Lin Yi. Was he overestimating him, believing him to be too loyal, or underestimating him, believing he was simply after Chu Mengyao's beauty? In that case, Mr. Lin, Take care of yourself. Li Shihui knew it was useless to say more now. He couldn't change Lin Yi's mind. He couldn't be used by her. I will, but I also hope you, Brother Shihui, take care of yourself and don't do anything unwise. With that, Lin Yi turned, pushed open the door, and left Li Shihui's office. It's now largely clear that the person behind Chu Pengzhan's actions is Li Shihui's. Lin Yi still doesn't know who's behind the scenes. The bank incident was allegedly orchestrated by Li Shihui, but given his current impunity, the police likely won't be able to gather any substantial evidence and take any action against Li Shihui. In other words, at best, they'll just apprehend the robbers and close the case. Lin Yi isn't one to follow the rules, but Li Shihui hasn't crossed his line yet. Since Chu Pengzhan hasn't responded, Lin Yi has let Li Shihui go for now. Li Shihui is a simple target, as Li Shihui himself said, killing him would leave no evidence. At the door, Li Yao and Xuanyuan didn't stop Lin Yi, allowing him to leave. They likely wouldn't act rashly without Li Shihui's orders. Lin Yi walked out of the bar, got into Chen Yushu's yellow beetle, and drove away from the powerful floating cloud bar. Chu Mengyao's Audi had already left, presumably because Uncle Fu had someone drive it back. Damn it, you dare to threaten me again. After Lin Yi was completely out of the bar, Li Shihui waved to the skeleton man behind him. Zhang Long, you and Li Yao, take this guy out together. Since I can't use him, keeping him around will be a problem sooner or later. Yes, Zhang Long replied calmly and walked out of the room. This Zhang Long was the master of the late Wang rank, the peak of his power, that Li Shihui had just assigned him. He also had the impressive name of Zhang Long, the same as Zhang Long and Zhao Hu from the 7 Heroes and 5 Gallants. Although Zhang Long didn't say anything, he still felt that he could handle Lin Yi alone and didn't need Li Yao to accompany him. But since he was now under Li Shihui's command, Zhang Long agreed. Zhang Long and Li Yao were together, and naturally Li Yao acted as the driver. It couldn't be helped, since Zhang Long was stronger than Li Yao. Lin Yi's route home was certain, so there was no need to search for it. Li Yao caught up with Lin Yi's beetle. Chapter 166 A Big Gift. Lin Yi naturally didn't think Li Shihui would just give up. The car hadn't driven far when the jade pendant on his neck began to warn him. Lin Yi smiled faintly and glanced in the rearview mirror. Sure enough, a black van had followed him shortly after. Though it had just come into view and wasn't very close, the jade pendant's warning allowed Lin Yi to be absolutely certain that the van behind him was targeting him. Without the jade pendant, it would have taken Lin Yi considerable time to determine whether the van was targeting him, a process that would have been impossible. However, this golden finger saved Lin Yi a considerable amount of precious time. While it wouldn't be very useful in the city, on the battlefield, knowing the enemy's presence even a second in advance could mean the difference between victory and defeat. Having confirmed that the van behind him was someone following him, Lin Yi didn't rush home. He steered the car and headed for a different road, away from the villa area. Lin Yi wasn't familiar with a map of Songshan city, but he did know this road. Further ahead would lead to the shantytown where Tang Yun's family lived. Beyond the shantytown, heading towards the outskirts of the city, a national highway traversing the mountains and forests would emerge. Lin Yi had passed this route when he first arrived by train, and the places he passed by were quite vivid in his memory. Brother Long, that guy actually changed his route. Did he notice us? Li Yao asked Zhang Long, standing beside him. So what if he did? Zhang Long said with some disdain. Whether he did or not, he's dead. Killing him is a piece of cake. Zhang Long had secretly observed Lin Yi's abilities and felt they were far inferior to his own. Li Shihui's decision to send Li Yao and him to kill Lin Yi seemed like an overkill and an overreaction. In Zhang Long's opinion, Li Yao alone could easily take down Lin Yi, let alone him. And the fact that Li Shihui had sent him along with Li Yao clearly indicated doubts about his abilities. Or had he overestimated Lin Yi's abilities? Zhang Long was deeply displeased. He felt a sense of superiority over Lin Yi, even disdaining to take action. He told Li Yao to take action later if possible, since he himself was too lazy to do anything. After hearing Zhang Long's words, Li Yao didn't think he was boasting. After all, Zhang Long's strength was clear. Li Yao was only at the early yellow rank, while Zhang Long was at the peak of the late yellow rank. Although both were at the yellow rank, the difference was worlds apart. Should we report to Brother Chihu? Li Yao asked. Although Brother Chihu didn't know any martial arts, He was a highly valued figure among the bosses, so both Li Yao and Zhang Long had to follow his orders. However, Zhang Long, despite his obvious strength, had a certain disdain for Li Chihu. While he would follow Li Chihu's orders, he secretly despised him. No need. Brother Chihu just told us to kill Lin Yi, not the method or location, Zhang Long said. Okay, I'll follow, Li Yao nodded. After passing the shanty towns and leaving Songshan City, Lin Yi also picked up speed. The beetle's performance was quite good, at least faster than the van behind them. Damn, that crappy beetle goes pretty fast. I should have stopped driving this van, Li Yao complained. He hadn't expected Lin Yi to suddenly change lanes and head for the suburbs. Driving in the city, speed wouldn't be much of an advantage, given the sheer volume of traffic. But outside the city, the situation was different. Is this guy trying to get away from us? Zhang Long frowned. I don't know, but our car is at a disadvantage. It won't be easy to catch up to him, Li Yao said. Huh? Zhang Long was about to say something when he saw Lin Yi's beetle parked on the side of the road in the distance. Lin Yi got out, stood in the middle of the road, and walked towards his car. What the hell is he trying to do, huh? Is he trying to tell us he spotted us and is going to stop us in the middle of the road to have a conversation? Li Yao speculated. Idiot, Zhang Long nodded after hearing Li Yao's explanation. It was the only explanation. Who else would stand in the middle of the road to stop a car? Aren't they afraid of death? Brother Long, should we stop the car and talk to him? Li Yao asked. Stop? Stop for nothing, Zhang Long sneered. Since this guy is looking for death, don't blame us for being rude. Brother Long, what do you mean? Li Yao asked, startled, a little uncertain. Just ram into him and kill him, Zhang Long snorted, a mocking smile crossing his face. A peak-level master at the early yellow rank would actually die in a car accident. Tisk-tisk, how tragic. He'd die with his eyes wide open. Oh hey, Li Yao understood Zhang Long's meaning and had to admit, Zhang Long's idea was truly despicable. A martial artist could die in battle, but not in vain. If he died for no reason, trapped in the enemy's trap, he would probably die with his eyes wide open. With the combined strength of Li Yao and Zhang Long, killing Lin Yi should be a piece of cake. However, Zhang Long didn't even bother to take action and simply ordered Lin Yi to be run over. If Lin Yi knew about this, he would definitely be in tears. Brother Long, this is such a sinister move, Li Yao said, and was about to speed up. Don't speed up, Zhang Long waved his hand. How can I run him over if I don't speed up? Li Yao asked, stunned. You pretend to slow down and stop, and then when you are about 20 meters away from him, suddenly accelerate and hide him to death, catching him off guard, Zhang Long said. Don't underestimate him. After all, he is a master with a peak strength of the early yellow rank. Let me ask you, if a car hits you, how sure are you that you can avoid it? If you know in advance, at least 80%, Li Yao nodded in agreement, but if you don't know, it will be troublesome to catch him off guard. Brother Long, you'd better be careful. If you want to hide him to death, of course you have to confuse him, Zhang Long said. It's funny when I think about it. A dignified yellow rank master died in a car accident. What's unpredictable in the world? Yeah, this is really funny, Li Yao said, but in this way, no one will suspect anything, and the police will only think it was a traffic accident. An accident. When the van was approaching Lin Yi, it began to slow down and turned on the turn signal, giving people the impression that it intended to stop. Lin Yi stood in the middle of the road, quietly watching the van approaching, with a smile on his face. Lin Yi had warned Li Chihu before, but he was completely oblivious. After he rejected him, he immediately sent someone to cause trouble for him. So he had no choice but to give him a big gift. Chapter 167 The Two Unlucky Masters. Lin Yi would do anything without evidence. By then, Li Chihu would likely be left with tears, right? Two yellow rank masters, dead like that, how unfortunate. The van suddenly accelerated when it was 20 meters from Lin Yi. Lin Yi could even see the smug smirks on the faces of Li Yao in the driver's seat and Zhang Long in the passenger seat. However, to Lin Yi, their smiles were like blooming epiphyllums, withering in an instant. How? Lin Yi laughed too, but his smile was strange and profound. What's that kid laughing at? Li Yao was baffled, unconsciously pressing harder on the accelerator. Actually, he was already at his limit, and pressing any harder was pointless. Who knows? Just run him over, Zhang Long, feeling somewhat uneasy at Lin Yi's laughter, ordered Li Yao. Lin Yi acted as if he hadn't noticed Li Yao's acceleration and remained standing in the middle of the road, like a soldier about to die. Hey, Li Yao smiled as he was about to hit Lin Yi. Lin Yi, the moment the van was about to hit him, suddenly dodged to the right, coming to the side of Li Yao's driver's seat, and kicked the van's left front tire. Bang! With a loud bang, the van's left front tire exploded, and the car suddenly lost balance and rushed to the left. The car curved in front of Lin Yi, broke through the guardrail beside the national highway, and plunged into the mountain stream. The van rolled back and forth in the air several times before landing at the bottom of the mountain stream. After a loud bang, bursts of flames appeared. Lin Yi glanced down the mountain stream and waited for a while. When no one emerged from the van, which was almost completely burned, Lin Yi turned around and prepared to leave. Of course, before leaving, Lin Yi pushed back the sharp blade on the tip of his shoe. Even with Lin Yi's immense strength, he couldn't guarantee a single kick would burst a moving tire. Even if the tire deflated, he couldn't guarantee a complete collapse. Therefore, external force was the best solution. Lin Yi's shoes had been concealed with blades, a modification he'd made on a whim. They weren't particularly useful, but under certain circumstances, they could prove incredibly useful. Just now, for example, if Lin Yi had simply extended his foot and maintained sufficient composure to steady his body and legs, the blades would have been enough to shatter the rotating tire. Of course, only Lin Yi would have dared such a dangerous undertaking. An ordinary person would have likely lost their footing. Two yellow rank masters, one in the early stages, the other at the peak of the late stages, in Songshan City, they were considered among the best. Their deaths were truly unjust, wasn't they? Lin Yi sighed, looking down at the horribly burned van at the foot of the cliff, and shook his head. I wonder how Li Chihu would feel if he knew his two yellow rank masters had died in such a way. Perhaps the most frustrating thing for him was that he had no way of proving whether Lin Yi had actually killed them. The scene looked like a traffic accident. Was this what Li Chihu meant by a power struggle among the upper classes? Even if he knew it was Lin Yi, without evidence, he couldn't prove it. Even if Li Chihu found Lin Yi, he would give him the cold shoulder, creating the illusion that the two had just had a flat tire and fell off a cliff. That would be incredibly frustrating. Only Li Chihu could understand the feeling of losing the rice after trying to steal the chicken. Lin Yi turned and walked towards Chen Yushu's beetle, got in, started the car, and drove towards the villa area. This was a poorly maintained national highway with no street lights at night, so there were few cars passing by. Having seen no other cars for so long, Lin Yi wasn't afraid of being discovered. When Lin Yi returned to the villa, it was brightly lit. Instead of parking his car in Chen Yushu's garage, he parked it in Chu Mengyao's yard. Since he didn't have a car to drive, Lin Yi decided to borrow Chen Yushu's car for the time being, figuring she wouldn't object. Perhaps hearing the sound of a car parked in the yard, the gate opened. It wasn't Chu Mengyao or Chen Yushu who opened it, but Uncle Fu. Mr. Lin, you're back, Uncle Fu nodded to Lin Yi. Uncle Fu, you haven't left yet. Lin Yi was a little puzzled. He had been running all the way to the middle of the highway to deal with two yellow rank experts, spending at least an hour on his own, and Uncle Fu hadn't returned yet. Normally, Uncle Fu would leave immediately after dropping Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu off at the villa. Mr. Chu is here too, Mr. Lin, please come in, Uncle Fu said to Lin Yi. Oh? Uncle Chu is here too. Lin Yi was even more surprised to see Chu Pengzhan at the villa so late. Lin Yi followed Uncle Fu into the villa and saw Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu sitting on a large sofa, their heads bowed, looking like good little kids. On a smaller sofa to the side, Chu Pengzhan was lecturing them with a sullen expression. Seeing Lin Yi enter, he forced a smile. Zai, you're back. Please take a seat. Chu Mengyao glanced at Lin Yi with a hint of grievance. Chen Yushu was right. Daddy was incredibly kind to him, almost too much. He hadn't treated her this way before. When she came back, he'd scolded her, while Lin Yi was beaming. If she didn't know Daddy well, she would have thought Lin Yi was his illegitimate son. If it weren't for Lin Yi, would she have been so upset and gone out drinking? Besides, she hadn't even had a sip. The difference between her and Lin Yi's treatment was worlds apart. She couldn't understand what Daddy was thinking, treating such a frivolous playboy so well. If she told him about his affairs at school and at the bar, would he still treat him the same way? Of course, Chu Mengyao was just thinking about it. She couldn't say these words, nor was she too embarrassed to say them. Zai, Thank you for your hard work. Tonight's events are all thanks to you, Chu Pengzhan said to Lin Yi with a smile. Nothing, Uncle Chu, Lin Yi smiled. Actually, I didn't do anything, these two kids just don't listen. Old Chen gave his daughter to me, and I didn't take good care of her. They went out with Yao and got into trouble, Chu Pengzhan said. If you hadn't been here, I really don't know what would have happened. Uncle Chu, Miss Chu and Xiaoshu are not to blame for what happened today. Lin Yi looked at the aggrieved Chu Mengyao and the nonchalant Chen Yushu and explained to Chu Pengzhan. Chapter 168 Domineering. Oh, Chu Pengzhan was slightly taken aback. He hadn't expected Lin Yi to defend Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. Chu Mengyao looked up at Lin Yi in surprise. In her mind, even if Lin Yi wasn't going to taunt someone, he wouldn't say anything good about her, right? After all, her treatment of him today had been truly awful. Things are a little strange today, Uncle Chu. Why don't we talk in my room? Lin Yi didn't want Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu to know too much. It wouldn't be good for them, and would only add to their worries. Chu Pengzhan nodded and glanced at them. Yao, Xiaoshu, go upstairs and rest. Let's end this for today. I need to talk to Xiaoyi about something. Oh, Chu Mengyao wasn't clueless. From Lin Yi's tone, she knew he'd discovered something at the bar, probably related to a competitor of her father's company. Thinking of Lin Yi's previous strange behavior at the bar, Chu Mengyao understood that the person who had targeted her and Xiaoshu might have done it deliberately. Chu Mengyao dragged Chen Yushu upstairs, and Lin Yi sat on the sofa where they had sat before. Xiaoyi, if you have something to say, just say it. Chu Pengzhan gestured to Lin Yi to speak. Uncle Chu, have you heard of Li Chihua? Lin Yi and Chu Pengzhan didn't need to beat around the bush, they could just speak their mind. Li Chihua, Chu Pengzhan frowned. I know him. Honghe Real Estate is one of Pengzhan Group's main competitors in Songshan. Oh, he was responsible for the bank kidnapping, Lin Yi said. Him? Chu Pengzhan's face suddenly showed astonishment. Although we are competitors, our strength is roughly equal. When it comes to projects, we split the profits roughly 50-50. It wouldn't make sense for him to kidnap Yao, would it? According to him, there's someone behind him, and he's just one of the parties involved. There must be other partners, Lin Yi said. Chu Pengzhan had heard that there was someone behind Li Chihua, but he didn't know who it was. A released prisoner, in just over a decade, had thrived, building the Honghe Real Estate Group from scratch, encompassing several hotels, bars, and entertainment complexes. Such scale couldn't be achieved through sheer hard work. Furthermore, Li Chihua had only been in the real estate industry for a few years. Without strong backing and support, she wouldn't be where she is now. How did you find out all this? Chu Pengzhan fell into deep thought. What Lin Yi had revealed today had shocked him. He had originally thought Chu Mengyao's kidnapper was just one of several shareholders within the company, and he had a suspect, but now it seemed there was more to the story. Li Chihua told me so himself, Lin Yi said. He told you so himself? Chu Pengzhan found it a little incredulous. He wanted to win me over, get me to do his bidding, or go undercover for Miss Chu, a bit of an infernal affairs plot, Lin Yi said. Chu Pengzhan nodded, without asking Lin Yi whether he agreed to Li Chihua's proposal, because since Lin Yi could tell him about this matter, it obviously proved that Lin Yi rejected Li Chihua's proposal. I didn't expect that he also set his sights on Pengzhan Group. Chu Pengzhan sighed deeply. Originally, I thought it was just a conflict within the group. Considering my father's face, I did not reorganize the group. However, some people actually began to collude with outsiders to attack the group. I didn't expect it to be so complicated. When Chu Pengzhan said this, he seemed helpless and sad. Lin Yi could feel it and understood his feelings. He had said before that most of the shareholders of the company were nephews and nieces of the left and right arms who had fought with Mr. Chu to conquer the world. Is there anything I can do? Lin Yi looked up at Chu Pengzhan. Li Chihua has a complicated background, treading a fine line between right and wrong. I don't want to openly antagonize him unless absolutely necessary, Chu Pengzhan said with some resignation. It seems we have no choice but to attack from within the company. Xiaoyi, just protect Yao and Xiaoshu. Leave these matters to me, Uncle Chu. I can actually help you with some of the burden. Lin Yi smiled. Li Chihua, even if we don't provoke him, he'll still cause trouble for us. Just like when I rejected his proposal, he immediately sent 2 experts to hunt me down. What? Li Chihua sent people to hunt you down? Chu Pengzhan was stunned. staring at Lin Yi in shock. He hadn't expected Li Chihu to attack so suddenly. Although Li Chihu was known to others as a domineering figure, Chu Pengzhan had little contact with him. He was a serious businessman who rarely touched anything shady. Yes, to yellow rank experts, Lin Yi didn't know if Chu Pengzhan knew about the power level classification. His expression gave no clue. However, a flicker of emotion crossed Uncle Fu's face, a fleeting one that would have been difficult to detect without paying close attention. After Lin Yi finished speaking, he kept a close eye on Chu Pengzhan and Uncle Fu's expressions. Seeing Uncle Fu's expression, Lin Yi knew he must have some understanding of the power level divisions, but at this point, he didn't ask any further questions. So, did you get rid of them? Chu Pengzhan looked at Lin Yi with some concern. I lured him to the highway and used a little trick, but they fell for it and drove straight into the mountain stream. Lin Yi shrugged. It's their bad luck, dead. Chu Pengzhan's eyes widened. He was still shocked to hear Lin Yi say that he had actually lured two masters who wanted to kill him down the mountain stream. I'm afraid he won't make it, Lin Yi said with a wry smile. Uncle Chu, I won't cause you any trouble, will I? Trouble? Of course not. Chu Pengzhan was shocked for a moment, then he returned to normal. Lin Yi got into trouble because of his family's affairs. Not to mention that these two people wanted to kill Lin Yi first, so Lin Yi used a trick to lead him into the ravine. Even if Lin Yi went up and killed them both directly, he should find a way to help Lin Yi exonerate. So, Chu Pengzhan nodded and comforted Lin Yi. Zai, you don't have to worry. Without evidence, Li Shihu can't determine that it was you who did it. Humph, in Songshan City, it's not so easy to touch my Chu Pengzhan. At this moment, Chu Pengzhan's domineering attitude was revealed. In front of Lin Yi and Chu Mengyao, Chu Pengzhan always had a demeanor of a gentle and kind elder, and he had never been so angry. Chapter 169 Shai Chen Yushu. After Chu Pengzhan understood the situation, he left with Uncle Fu. Just as Lin Yi was about to return to his room to rest, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu came down from upstairs. Brother Arrow, what did you just say? Chen Yushu was a curious child. She and Chu Mengyao had been eavesdropping upstairs earlier, but she didn't dare get too close for Chu Pengzhan to notice, so she couldn't hear clearly. Nothing much, just some company stuff, Lin Yi said. Uncle Chu's competitor? Oh, Chu Mengyao wasn't interested in that. She was still too young, uninformed by the intrigues of the business world, and her behavior was still simple. She was concerned about the real reason why her father had sent Lin Yi to her side. Since it wasn't related to that, she naturally had no interest. Brother Arrow, tell me the truth, did Uncle Chu send you here to pursue Sister Yao? Chen Yushu didn't quite believe that Chu Pengzhan and Lin Yi had only discussed company matters. Huh? Lin Yi looked at Chen Yushu in astonishment. Oh, nothing, Chen Yushu was just trying to trick Lin Yi. Seeing his expression, she knew her guess was off. Or at least, Lin Yi, like Chu Mengyao, was also in the dark. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and touched his nose. Chen Yushu's question was too ridiculous, wasn't it? Was Chu Pengzhan out of his mind? He sent him to woo his daughter? Was Chu Mengyao incredibly ugly, or did she have some hidden illness that made it necessary to send someone to woo her? It had to be said that Chen Yushu was really whimsical. I wonder what kind of things were in her little head. Xiaoshu, what are you talking about? Chu Mengyao's face flushed. Why don't you ask if my dad sent him to pursue you? Why did Uncle Chu send him to pursue me? Chen Yushu blinked. He's not that gossipy. Chu Mengyao rolled her eyes, very angry. Say it again, I'll tear your mouth apart. Oh, you can still talk even if it's torn, unless you sew your mouth up. Sister Yao, your logic is wrong, Chen Yushu retorted. Chu Mengyao turned and went upstairs. This best friend is too powerful. Chu Mengyao can't afford to offend, but can she avoid it? Sister Yao, wait for me. Chen Yushu also turned and ran after Chu Mengyao. Lin Yi looked at the backs of the two and shook his head. So far, Lin Yi has not been to the second floor to see, and he doesn't know what the situation is upstairs. Suddenly remembering that he still had the key to Chen Yushu's villa, he quickly called out, Xiaoshu? Huh? Brother Arrow, you called me. Chen Yushu turned around, looking at Lin Yi with some confusion, then opened her mouth wide. Uncle Chu, you're not really sending you to woo me, are you? Lin Yi almost fell over. I'm here to return the key to your villa. Oh, the key? Chen Yushu was a little at a loss, a little embarrassed. Ha, I was just joking, I know. Lin Yi nodded confidently. When had Chen Yushu ever told the truth? 9 out of 10 of her words were just jokes. That's good. Chen Yushu breathed a sigh of relief, feeling a little hot on her face. She didn't know why she had asked such a question just now. Fortunately, she always had a crazy and funny image. Otherwise, if someone found out about her rare true words, it would be so embarrassing. By the way, can I borrow your car for a few days? Otherwise, it would be inconvenient for me to go out with you guys, Lin Yi asked. You open it. I won't open it anyway, Chen Yushu waved her hand. I'll leave the keys to the villa with you for now. Did you want the computer? Just go get it when you're free. I'm sleepy, I'm going to bed first. For nothing, Chen Yushu felt her face must be red right now, like a crab with a fever. It was like that TV commercial from years ago. What happened, buddy? Someone cooked you. In fact, under the dim light of the villa's second floor, Chen Yushu's expression wasn't that obvious, and Lin Yi didn't pay much attention. Okay, then I'll go get the computer tomorrow. Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen walked out of the school, being pointed at and talked about. Tang Yun felt depressed, feeling countless eyes staring at her from behind. Lin Yi, I'm so angry, Tang Yun thought. Yunayan, then I'll go home first. Although Liu Xinwen and Tang Yun lived close to each other, Tang Yun helped out at her mother's barbecue stall every night, so they didn't walk together. Well, then, be careful on the road. Go see Zaya Effin when you have time. She's been a bit moody lately. She was completely silent when I went to her house on the weekend, Tang Yun instructed. Okay, I'll go see her shortly, Liu Xinwen nodded. Tang Yun walked alone to the snack street behind the school. Her mother was lighting a fire and preparing to barbecue. Tang Yun pouted and placed a barbecue recipe Lin Yi had given her in front of her mother. Here, it's the recipe. Oh? You've got it. Tang's mother's face lit up, and she happily took it. In truth, after Lin Yi's words yesterday, Tang's mother hadn't been sure if Lin Yi would actually give her the recipe. After all, it could have been just a casual remark, not something to be taken seriously. But Tang Yun actually brought it back today, signaling that her barbecue stall's business was about to pick up. Naturally, Tang's mother was delighted. Did you thank him? Thank you, Tang Yun curled her lips. Thank him? Thank him for a love letter? For letting the whole school know about it? Child, have you thanked them? No one knows a daughter better than her mother. One look at Tang Yun's expression told her she most likely hadn't thanked Lin Yi. She shook her head, somewhat helplessly. Her daughter was good in every way, except for her somewhat arrogant and aloof nature. If she'd been born into a wealthy family, this would have been perfectly fine, but in this family. Tang's mother sighed inwardly. When Tang Yun reached her age, she'd known the hardships of life. Hadn't she once been as proud as her daughter? But the hardships of life had dulled her edge, leaving her with a mercenary attitude. Thanks are said, and they're done. Tang Yun shifted awkwardly. Mom, let me help you. No, I'm closing up early today and going back to try this recipe. If I'm any later, I'm afraid the seasoning vendor will be off work and won't be able to buy the ingredients. With that, Tang's mother packed up her stall and prepared to go home. Tang Yun reluctantly helped her mother with the work. Why did her mother trust Lin Yi so much? What if he just made up the recipe at random? The dish would be unpalatable and the ingredients would be wasted. However, seeing her mother's absolute trust in Lin Yi's recipe, Tang Yun had no choice but to follow her. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 170 The Happy Tang Yun Family. Please support with monthly tickets. On the way home, Tang Yun went with her mother to the supermarket to buy seasoning. Since this was just a trial phase, there was no need to go to the spice wholesale market. Once the test was successful, it wouldn't be too late to buy in bulk. Back home, Tang's mother excitedly began marinating chicken wings and skewers according to Lin Yi's recipe, humming a little tune, a longing for a better life. If the barbecue stall business could improve, the family's predicament would be resolved, and perhaps they could save enough for his wife's surgery in the second half of the year. Even Tang Zhixing, lying in bed, was puzzled by his wife's joy today. Yun'er's mother, what's wrong with you today? Is there something good going on? Tang Zhixing lay in bed every day, feeling bored. He wanted to help his wife, but he couldn't do anything except sleep. Yun'er's classmate gave me a barbecue recipe. If I can make it, our business will definitely boom, Tang's mother said as she put the marinated chicken wings and skewers in the freezer. Really? That would be great. Tang Jichen was very happy after hearing what his wife said. If it really works out, I have to thank that classmate very much. Your precious daughter is very proud. That boy has a crush on her, but she ignores him and gives him a cold shoulder. At this, Tang's mother was a little angry. If she finds someone like you in the future, let's see how she will live. Although Tang's mother's words were a bit harsh, Tang Jichen was not annoyed. He had figured out everything during the past 6 months of lying in bed. It was because of his lack of ability that he dragged down the mother and daughter. If he had some savings before, this would not have happened. His wife's unwavering loyalty to him made Tang Jichen feel guilty, and he also secretly thought that his daughter must not suffer like this in the future. This kind of life is really not a normal life. However, his wife's words made Tang Jichen a little worried. Is he the son of a wealthy family? Don't be like Xiaofen's boyfriend, just playing around. I don't think so, Tang's mother said. That kid doesn't have the slightest bit of a dandy air. I think he'd be nice to our Yun'er. The house was small, and Tang Yun could hear her parents' conversation clearly from inside. She felt a little annoyed. She didn't know why her mother was so optimistic about Lin Yi. This guy was so bad, but he didn't have the air of a dandy? Did kicking Zhong Pinliang away count as a dandy? Thinking about Lin Yi made Tang Yun unable to concentrate on her studies. After reading for a while, she felt a little irritated. She stood up and walked out of the room, only to see her mother marinate the barbecue and prepare to grill a few skewers to test the taste. Mom, can I help you? Tang Yun couldn't continue reading and needed something to do. Then help me thread some chicken wings while I start the fire. Tang's mother put the bamboo skewers aside and went to start the fire. Oh, Tang Yun went to help her mother string the chicken wings together. She wasn't sure if they were good, but they smelled pretty good. After a few skewers, her mother had already started the fire. Tang Yun placed the chicken wings on the grill and helped her mother fan the flames. Soon, the aroma filled her, and even Tang Yun, who didn't particularly like meat, couldn't help but salivate. She thought, looks like Lin Yi wasn't kidding. He's quite the chef. Tang Jichen also smelled the aroma. Yun'er's mom, this smells good. What? Are you greedy? Although Tang's mother hadn't tasted it, she knew from the aroma alone that it must be good. If it were grilled in front of the school or at the snack street, there would surely be a lot of customers. It'll be ready soon. Try it first. Tang Jichen felt a little embarrassed. He was lying in bed, unable to do anything. The mother and daughter had something delicious to offer him first, which made him feel useless. If it weren't for his deep affection for his wife, Tang Jichen knew that if anything happened to him, his wife would be heartbroken. He even considered committing suicide. Despite his wife's constant complaints, claiming she'd made the wrong choice, she still worked tirelessly for the family, keeping it in perfect order. Yun'er, give your dad a few chicken wings. Tang's mother handed Tang Yun a skewer of grilled chicken wings, asking her to take them to Tang Jichen. Tang Yun took the wings, drooling at the golden brown, enticing aroma. They were truly delicious. But she couldn't bear to eat them, so she ran to her father's bedside and handed them to Tang Jichen. Yun'er, have some. How could Tang Jichen not see Tang Yun salivating? 18 or 19-year-old children were growing up. Although Tang Jichen usually ate some less than fresh meat skewers, it was out of fear that Tang Yun wouldn't finish them properly and get upset, affecting her school days. But these chicken wings were clearly freshly marinated and looked incredibly fresh. Tang Jichen wanted to give them to his daughter. Dad, I'm not hungry. Eating too much makes you fat? Tang Yun shook her head. Okay, stop arguing, old Tang. Just eat. This one's almost done. Yun'er and I can have this one, Tang's mother said with a smile. Okay, Tang Jichen nodded after hearing his wife's words, taking the grilled chicken wings. After just one bite, he gave a thumbs up. You're right, the taste is really unique. I think this will be a hit. By then, the remaining chicken wings were ready. Tang's mother gave one to Tang Yun and took one for herself. Although Tang Yun didn't want to admit it, she had to admit that these chicken wings were much better than the ones her mother had grilled before. It was just like the ones Xiaofen's boyfriend had treated her. Xiaofen and Liu Xin went to a big restaurant. Yun'er, what do you think? Tang's mother hadn't eaten yet, but seeing that Tang Yun was enjoying the food, she felt that this time it must have been a success. Not bad, Tang Yun said reluctantly. She didn't want Lin Yi to get too proud. even though Lin Yi wasn't around. After taking a bite, Tang's mother's eyes lit up. You kid, this isn't so bad? You've got a taste for it, haven't you? I think this is just as good as the signature wings at those big barbecue restaurants. We'll keep it this way from now on, okay? I'll go to the wholesale market tomorrow and buy some seasoning. It should sell better than before, Tang Yun had to admit. The taste was indeed more appealing. Although most students weren't very picky about food, just to fill their stomachs, as long as it tasted better than the school cafeteria, it was undeniable that delicious food always attracted more students to buy. Yuner, this weekend, why don't you invite Lin Yi and his classmate to her house? Mom will treat them to barbecue and thank them. Tang's mother was delighted. Of course, she always remembered the people who dug the well when she drank the water. Huh? Tang Yun was stunned, almost dropping the chicken wing in her hand. Inviting Lin Yi to her house? Did she hear correctly? How could she let him come to her house? Chapter 171 Threat. Seeking monthly votes. Early in the morning, Lin Yi was jolted awake by the ringing of his cell phone. These past few days, Lin Yi had experienced the benefits of sleep, which greatly enhanced his body's energy levels. Hello, Lin Yi answered the phone dazedly. Lin Yi, a familiar voice came from the other end. This is Song Lingshan. Oh, Lioness, hello, Lin Yi mumbled. What the hell? Lin Yi, what did you call me? Song Lingshan exploded upon hearing Lin Yi's words. Say it again, if you dare. Lin Yi had initially considered Song Lingshan a bit violent, so he subconsciously nicknamed her Lioness. He had never called her that when awake, but now, half asleep, he blurted out his thoughts. I was dreaming about fighting a lioness, Lin Yi said, a little embarrassed, suddenly awake. Even if he was thinking that, he couldn't say it out loud. HMPH, Song Lingshan snorted. Although she knew Lin Yi was probably making this up, she didn't want to argue with him. Do you have time? What for? Lin Yi asked. I'll see you at your school later. Captain Yang recommended you to me, Song Lingshan said. To help me solve this case, Song Lingshan was at her wit's end. The difficulty of searching in the mountains and forests was practically life-threatening. Some of the dangerous areas were impossible to search one by one. After several days of no progress, Song Lingshan, desperate, remembered Yang Huaijin's recommendation. With a tried attitude, she called Lin Yi. Honestly, if Song Lingshan hadn't trusted Yang Huaijin like a big brother, she wouldn't have called Lin Yi. In her eyes, Lin Yi was just Chu Mengyao's bodyguard. What could he possibly be capable of? Hell, Lin Yi smiled faintly. As expected, Song Lingshan had finally approached him. Okay, then you have to ask for leave first. I can't skip classes all day, can I? Skipping classes all day? I'll just use you for one day, okay? Song Lingshan fumed. What does your usual skipping have to do with me? Yesterday I skipped class because of Jun, and today because of you. Isn't that all your police department's business? Lin Yi asked. Jun? Captain Yang, Song Lingshan was taken aback. She hadn't expected Yang Huaijin to come to Lin Yi yesterday. Naturally, she didn't think Lin Yi was making this up. There was no need for Lin Yi to lie about this. She could verify it with just a phone call. So, she said, okay, then I'll talk to your director first, okay, then wait for me at the snack street next to the school. It's not usually crowded there this morning. Lin Yi got out of bed and prepared to get dressed. Lin Yi had originally planned to go to school with Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu today. After all, he'd been absent for several days. Although Wang Zifan wouldn't say anything, he was still a student. He couldn't always get special treatment, could he? Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu barely touched last night's meal. Lin Yi glanced at it and felt embarrassed to eat. He thought, I'll leave it for them. I'll ask Song Lingshan for a meal later. It's not like I'll be reluctant to leave a meal. In fact, even if Song Lingshan didn't ask Lin Yi would still want to dig out the kidnappers from that day. The reason was simple, since he had already torn his relationship with Li Chihua, there was no need to indulge him. He should deal with these small fry first. After leaving a note for Chu Mengyao, telling her that he had something else to do today, Lin Yi drove out in Chen Yashu's yellow Beetle. He didn't know if Uncle Fu's driver's license had been issued yet. He would have asked Yang Huaijin to take care of it directly. Uncle Fu would have had to go through some connections. Driving through the shantytown, Lin Yi instinctively slowed down, only to see Tang Yun standing at the platform waiting for the bus. The same scoundrel who had harassed Tang Yun yesterday was there, gesticulating and talking excitedly. Due to the crowds at the station, he didn't dare to make any advances. Tang Yun kept a cold face and ignored him, but she felt a little uncomfortable with the scoundrel's nonsense. Damn. Hasn't this kid learned his lesson yesterday? Doesn't his butt hurt? Lin Yi turned the steering wheel and slammed the accelerator, hurtling towards the scoundrel. The tires made a sharp, piercing sound as the car turned. Just before hitting the scoundrel, Lin Yi stopped the car. For this high-performance car, Lin Yi had perfect control. Everyone waiting on the platform gasped in shock, and Tang Yun, standing next to the scoundrel, paled in fear. However, the most frightened was the little rascal. He was now sweating profusely, staring at the car in front of him in horror, somewhat unsure of what to do. After confirming the car hadn't caused him any damage, he jumped out again, pointing at Lin Yi's driver's seat and hurling curses. Fuck you. Do you know how to drive? Are your eyes as far as your feet? Get out of here. Don't you want to live? At this moment, the little rascal's arrogant nature was revealed once again. As he spoke, he was about to pull on Lin Yi's car door. Li Erlin thought, this car looks pretty good. It looks like a Volkswagen Beetle. It cost over 200,000 yuan, right? This time, I can at least make the driver pay me 3,000 or 5,000 yuan. Lin Yi's car door was locked while it was in motion, so Li Erlin couldn't open it. Just as he was about to give up, Lin Yi suddenly opened the door and pushed it out, causing Li Erlin to stumble and fall to the ground again. His old injury from yesterday was immediately tugged, and he started wailing, clutching his butt. Isn't your injury still healed? I thought you'd forgotten the pain after that scar healed. You did that trapeze on the bus yesterday, and you haven't learned your lesson yet. Lin Yi was undoubtedly overbearing at this moment. So you were the one yesterday. Li Erlin suddenly understood after hearing Lin Yi's words. No wonder the guy suddenly drove over, it was him. Hell, you're not stupid, you just have a little brain problem. Lin Yi gave Li Erlin a cold look. Stay away from Tang Yun from now on. You won't be so lucky next time I see you. After all, the whole school knew Tang Yun was his girlfriend now. Whether it was true or not, he really couldn't ignore her affairs. In fact, even without this incident, Lin Yi would still be involved in Tang Yun's affairs. I thought you were someone else, but you're Tang Yun's protector. Li Erlin laughed. Hey, Tang Yun lives in the shanty town. I wonder if you can keep an eye on her every day? Then we can settle all the old and new scores together, right? Tang Yun. Chapter 172 Confirming the Rumors. Please vote for me. After hearing what Li Erlin said, Tang Yun's face turned pale in an instant. She gritted her teeth and lowered her head. However, a murderous look flashed in Lin Yi's eyes. If it weren't for this occasion and if he wasn't in this identity, this Li Erlin would have become a corpse at this moment. He looked at Li Erlin coldly and said, Don't give me a reason to touch you. Take care of yourself. After that, Lin Yi pulled Tang Yun's hand and said, Get in the car. Oh, Tang Yun was very confused at the moment. She was panicked by Lin Yi's sudden appearance, and she was helpless and nervous about Li Erlin's words. She was a little overwhelmed by Lin Yi's hand pulling. She didn't even think of resisting, and was pushed into the passenger seat by Lin Yi. After settling Tang Yun, Lin Yi got in the car, started the car, and drove away. Li Erlin stared intently at Lin Yi's departing car, muttering disdainfully, driving a woman's car, what's the point of pretending to be such a jerk? Let's wait and see. At the bus stop, Li Erlin didn't dare to do anything to Lin Yi on his own. The fact that Lin Yi had pried open the bus door and thrown him out yesterday had frightened Li Erlin. He could at least conclude that Lin Yi was quite strong, and his butt was injured. If he fought him, he would definitely suffer. But Li Erlin was naturally not willing to give up. Those few harsh words before were not meant to scare Lin Yi, but were well-founded. Could he, Lin Yi, really protect Tang Yun all day long? Besides, driving a beetle was nothing special. He had his own backers. When the time came, he would talk to the young soldier about this matter. Wouldn't he kill Lin Yi? Cursing his bad luck, Li Erlin stood up and saw the crowd of people watching and laughing at him from the platform. He cursed, What are you looking at? Go do what you need to do. Li Erlin's curse made the crowd laugh even louder. Someone even whispered, Just to see your butt get bruised. Although Li Erlin was a slum dweller, he didn't dare to openly challenge so many people. He could only blush and pat his butt as he walked away. The car had been driving for a while before Tang Yun realized how she had gotten into the car without knowing what she was doing. Lin Yi even held her hand. What had she done? Tang Yun was so confused at the time that she let Lin Yi push her into the car. Only now did she realize something was wrong. Stop the car. Tang Yun looked up at Lin Yi, somewhat bewildered, her face flushed. How did she get into his car? Now, if anyone saw her, wouldn't the rumors become true? Indeed, the rumors have become true. Liu Xinwen came out of her house and went to the bus station to take a bus. When she saw Tang Yun, she was about to call her, but she saw that Lin Yi was holding her hand and getting into the car. Liu Xinwen opened her mouth, but finally did not call out, because Tang Yun had already got into Lin Yi's car and disappeared from sight. This Yun girl actually lied to me. She got into Lin Yi's car and still said it was nothing. Liu Xinwen stomped her feet in anger. What should I do? Doesn't she remember Xia Fan's lesson? She was furious, and when she looked up and saw Li Erlin limping towards her, she was furious. This Li Erlin liked Tang Yun. Liu Xinwen knew it very well. Usually, with Liu Xinwen, a tough girl, around Tang Yun, Li Erlin really didn't dare to go too far. Who is Liu Xinwen? She is the kind of person who can chop people with a kitchen knife. She doesn't care about her life. So Li Erlin doesn't provoke such people easily. Li Erlin, why are you twisting and turning? Is your skin itchy? Let me loosen it for you. Liu Xinwen vented her anger on Li Erlin. No. Sister, when I fell down and can't walk steadily, Li Erlin shook his head quickly. He couldn't afford to offend this woman. Li Erlin felt that he was so damn unlucky. Not only was he bullied by Lin Yi at home, but he was also scolded by Liu Xinwen. He must tell Bing Xiao about this and let that guy know how powerful he is. As for Liu Xinwen, he wouldn't be afraid of her after he had a good relationship with Bing Xiao. Stop the car? Aren't you going to school? Lin Yi asked, looking at Tang Yun, who was anxiously looking around privately. Going to school, but you have to let me down. What if someone sees us? Tang Yun was a little anxious, but she didn't dare to move. How could she open the door of a car that was traveling at high speed? I have something to do this morning, so I won't be going to school. I'll drop you off at the snack street later. Lin Yi smiled. Is that okay now? Why are you like that? Tang Yun wanted to protest, but couldn't find a reason. She could only glare at Lin Yi angrily, feeling that a relationship with him had become complicated ever since they met. Believe it or not, I just happened to be passing by. Lin Yi shrugged innocently. Tang Yun wouldn't believe him. How could such a coincidence happen? We met yesterday, and we'd meet again today? Tang Yun pouted, unable to argue with Lin Yi. Feeling aggrieved, she sat there like a punching bag, her head turned away, staring out a window, trying not to look at Lin Yi. Was that a rumor you made up yesterday? Tang Yun stared out the window for a moment before remembering she still had something to ask Lin Yi. Yesterday? Lin Yi was stunned. He looked at Tang Yun in surprise, not understanding what was going on. What happened yesterday? You? Tang Yun couldn't tell whether Lin Yi really didn't know or was pretending to be ignorant, so she could only grit her teeth and say, You wrote me a love letter. I wrote you a love letter. Lin Yi was stunned again. Only then did he think of the rumors at school yesterday. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. Am I such a boring person? Do I need to spread rumors if I want to pursue you? Although what Lin Yi said was a bit shameless, Tang Yun didn't doubt it this time. Indeed, Lin Yi was right. If he wanted to pursue her, would he need to spread rumors? Now that his mother was very happy and wanted her to be friends with him, was there any need to spread these meaningless rumors? That would only make her more annoyed with him. Maybe someone saw it and misunderstood. Lin Yi thought to himself, my little aunt, I am sick for spreading rumors. There are 2 young ladies at home, and I even lost my temper last night. Oh, Tang Yun replied aggrievedly, pouting, then don't look for me so often in the future, otherwise, others will think it's the same thing. Oh, it really was a coincidence. Lin Yi was helpless. How could he explain this? Every time was a coincidence. Tang Yun ignored him and sat there quietly with her chin in her hand until the car drove to the snack street behind the school. Lin Yi parked the car and unlocked the central control lock. Tang Yun opened the door and got out of the car. Suddenly, she remembered that her mother asked her to tell Lin Yi that he was coming home this weekend. Although she didn't want to talk to Lin Yi again, if she didn't say it now, her mother might urge her to go to Lin Yi's class alone to find Lin Yi. Would that just confirm the rumors in the school? Chapter 173 Guaranteed. Monthly vote request. Thinking of this, Tang Yun turned around helplessly and looked at Lin Yi. My mom asked you to bring some friends over to my house this weekend. Huh? Going to your house this weekend? Lin Yi was stunned. What for? I don't know, Tang Yun said instinctively, but after she finished speaking, she was afraid that Lin Yi would come to the class to ask her for details, so she added, my mom asked you to go to barbecue. With that, Tang Yun trotted off towards the school without looking back, leaving Lin Yi in shock. Where is your home? Although Lin Yi knew Tang Yun's approximate location was in the shantytown was huge, so who would know where Tang Yun's home was? As for Tang Yun saying that her mother invited her and Kang Xiaobo to barbecue, it was probably because she had tested the recipe yesterday and found it worked, so she asked her and Kang Xiaobo to try it as a thank you. Huh? Lin Yi shook his head, reached out to close the car door, and waited for Song Lingshan. After waiting for about half an hour, Lin Yi received another call from Song Lingshan. Lin Yi, Director Wang from your school is quite easy to talk to. He's giving you a leave now? Where are you? I'll come find you. The snack street behind the school, Lin Yi said. Wang Zifeng had the evidence in his hands, so how could he not give him a leave? Besides, Song Lingshan had probably already told him that it was a business matter, so Wang Zifeng wouldn't interfere with such matters. Then wait for me. I'll be right there, Song Lingshan said, and hung up. About 10 minutes later, Lin Yi saw in the rearview mirror a civilian Cheetah SUV with a license plate starting with Songji approaching. Songji is a civilian license plate number specially assigned by the police department to facilitate investigations. However, this number is now well known, making it indistinguishable from police cars. Many powerful people even use their connections to apply for this license plate for their own cars, enjoying special privileges on the road. Song Lingshan arrived at a snack street and didn't see Lin Yi. Instead, she saw a yellow beetle parked on the side of the road. Just as she was wondering if she could call Lin Yi, she saw the beetle's door open and Lin Yi get out, walking towards her. Your car? Song Lingshan looked at Lin Yi's beetle in surprise. Her investigation showed that Lin Yi was hired by Chu Pengzhan to protect Chu Mengyao. While it was possible that Lin Yi would be given a car, there was no way he would be given a car like this, right? This didn't fit the image of Lin Yi as a bodyguard. It's Chen Yushu's. Lend it to me for a few days. Lin Yi didn't hide it. After all, the car had a license plate. If Song Lingshan wanted to investigate, she could just check the owner directly. Well, get it, Song Lingshan said, pointing to the passenger seat. Lin Yi opened the door and got in. Song Lingshan started the car and drove towards the police station. The car drove for a while, and Song Lingshan saw that Lin Yi didn't say anything, so she frowned. Aren't you going to say something? What? Lin Yi turned his head and glanced at Song Lingshan, looking her up and down. Didn't you come to me? Why do you want me to say it? Oh, what I want to say is that the injury on my leg has healed. I'm not afraid of you this time. You can pinch it as you like. You? Song Lingshan was a little angry. She really didn't know what Captain Yang valued about Lin Yi. Why did he recommend such a person to her? Hearing Lin Yi say such shameless words, she immediately thought of the scene in the hospital that day, and cursed with some hatred. Rogue, guaranteed it, Lin Yi said lightly, leaning back leisurely on the chair and squinting his eyes. Song Lingshan didn't know what to say. Lin Yi's words made her speechless. After a long while, she said, can you help me find the bank robbers that day? You asked me to come and asked if I could. Lin Yi curled his lips. I really don't know how you got promoted. Apart from Erhubaji, how come you don't have any brains? Song Lingshan almost drove the car into the wall to commit suicide. Lin Yi's words were too mean, right? What do you mean Erhubaji has no brains? It is true that I am a bit impulsive. I always rush to the front when arresting criminal suspects, but this can't be said to be a tiger, right? It can only be said to be brave. However, Captain Yang also talked about this problem of his. He's the leader of the team. Every time he rushes forward, regardless of other teammates, isn't this personal heroism? In fact, Song Lingshan didn't really think that much. It's like a battle between two sides on the battlefield. The commander rushed forward first. If the commander was brave, it would be fine. He could boost the morale of the whole army. But if he was accidentally ambushed by the enemy or injured or even died, then the whole army would be in chaos. Song Lingshan naturally understood this later, and thankfully nothing serious had happened, giving her time to slowly correct her mistakes. In reality, Song Lingshan had misunderstood. Lin Yi's two tigers wasn't referring to her bravery during every mission. In Lin Yi's view, if he had the ability and confidence to kill the enemy, he would do it himself, without asking his teammates to join him. After all, if he was confident, There was no need for unnecessary sacrifice. Lin Yi's description of Song Lingshan as a tiger was actually referring to her carelessness, like not noticing her injured leg, or pressing the needle even though she knew it was injured. If that wasn't a tiger, what was it? Well, then, I hope that with your help, young Master Lin, we can catch the bank robbers who got away the other day. Song Lingshan gritted her teeth and said bitterly. But in her heart, she thought, if we can't catch them, we'll settle the score later. How? Give it a try, Lin Yi nodded. I can't guarantee it. Song Lingshan really wanted to kick Lin Yi out of the car. I can't guarantee what you were pretending to be capable of just now. Where are you going? Lin Yi asked halfway through the drive. To the police station, and then discuss how to apprehend the suspect, Song Lingshan explained. No need to go there, just head to your search area. Lin Yi shook his head. He knew his own abilities best. Discussions wouldn't guarantee results. If those people were truly within the area, he'd be able to sense them. If they weren't, discussions would be pointless. Huh? Song Lingshan was stunned. Just the two of us, you wouldn't dare? Lin Yi looked at her with a half-smile. Lin Yi naturally didn't want too many people to know about his special abilities. He was helping Song Lingshan partly because of Yang Huaijin. Their relationship was self-evident. Since Yang Huaijin trusted Song Lingshan and introduced him to her, Lin Yi naturally wouldn't say anything, nor would he refuse. But on the other hand, Lin Yi also wanted to catch these people. Now that he was facing off against Li Chihua, there was no need to save face or wiggle room. Chapter 174 Sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Asking for monthly votes, what's there to be afraid of? Song Lingshan was provoked by Lin Yi. Although she knew that she was trying to provoke her, she still agreed, just because of those words that Lin Yi had just said that looked down on her. As a former Special Forces instructor, Song Lingshan had nothing to be afraid of. At the very least, she could get away with it. As for Lin Yi, humph, since you're asking for trouble, you can't blame others. In Song Lingshan's opinion, although Lin Yi is good in martial arts, he couldn't have undergone professional training in life and death battles after all, so there was still a certain gap between him and herself. If Lin Yi dared to go, what wouldn't she be afraid of? Oh, then let's go. Lin Yi ignored Song Lingshan's intense reaction. Song Lingshan felt like she was talking to a cow. She had set a lot of lofty ambitions in vain, and she should have said something, even if it was just praising him for his courage. But Lin Yi didn't say anything. According to the urban surveillance videos from the Urban Management Department and the traffic videos of the main roads, we can determine that the suspects are hiding in the mountains and forests in front. Song Lingshan suppressed her anger and explained to Lin Yi, and the robber's car we found was also nearby. There is also an abandoned factory warehouse over there where the bodies of Baldi and Malaoli were found. The robbers have a large amount of cash in their hands. If they leave here with the cash, they will inevitably be noticed by nearby checkpoints. So we judge that if the kidnappers care about the money, then they must still be nearby. Oh, that is to say, if they throw away the money, they may run away. Lin Yi nodded and asked. You could say that, Song Lingshan said. But if we can recover the stolen cash, the case is half solved, and I'll have an easier time explaining it to my side. If the person is there, I can help you find it, but you expect me to find the cash? Do you think I'm a police dog? Lin Yi rolled his eyes. By the way, doesn't your captain call himself a hunting dog? You can let him try. The shrill sound of brakes rang out as the cheetah slammed to a stop on the side of the road. Both Song Lingshan and Lin Yi leaned forward due to inertia. What's wrong with you? Lin Yi frowned, confused by Song Lingshan's reaction. You are not allowed to insult Captain Yang. If you insult him again, please get out of the car. Song Lingshan glared at Lin Yi, her eyes blazing with fire, as if she wanted to eat him, just like the lioness Lin Yi had described. So that was the reason? Lin Yi was speechless. Song Lingshan was so protective of Yang Huaijin. Could it be that this girl liked him? You like Yang Huaijin? Lin Yi asked. Please don't insult the pure brother-sister relationship between Captain Yang and me. Song Lingshan seriously and affirmatively corrected Lin Yi's crooked thoughts. Don't use your dirty thoughts to think about the relationship between me and Yang. I defend him because I respect him and admire him. He is like a division commander. Since I just entered the police station, he taught me and encouraged me little by little and watched me grow. Lin Yi smiled faintly. Then, if Yang Huaijin said you are a police dog, would you be angry? Ah. Me? Song Lingshan was slightly stunned. She didn't know why Lin Yi suddenly asked this, but still shook her head and said truthfully, how could that be? Captain Yang is like my master. It's normal for him to joke with me. Lin Yi didn't explain anything. Similarly, when Yang Huaijin first joined the special mission team, he was also green and immature. He led him to grow step by step, so the relationship between himself and Yang Huaijin is even deeper than that between Song Lingshan and Yang Huaijin. That kind of friendship between life and death is irreplaceable. So even if Lin Yi pointed at Yang Huaijin's nose and scolded him, he would only greet him with a smile. In fact, although Lin Yi used to defend his teammates in front of outsiders, he was merciless when scolding them in front of his own people. I remember that Yang Huaijin, a big man, was found crying in front of the captain who was younger than him. Of course, Lin Yi couldn't tell Song Lingshan about this. Okay, if you defend him, then I won't say that in the future, Lin Yi nodded, but you can ask Yang Huaijin afterwards. He doesn't mind me saying that to him. Song Lingshan blinked, not knowing what Lin Yi meant. Her professional sensitivity had long made her suspect that there seemed to be some unknown secret between Lin Yi and Captain Yang. However, because it involved Yang Huaijin, the person she respected the most, Song Lingshan did not investigate too much, because she believed that Yang Huaijin was an upright person and it was impossible for him to associate with some evil people. But now, it seemed that all signs indicated that Lin Yi and Captain Yang had many secrets that she didn't know about. This made Song Lingshan very curious. She didn't dare ask Yang Huaijin, but she could ask Lin Yi. This kid, she had to get something out of him. Song Lingshan thought, maybe I'm too excited. Song Lingshan started the car again, her expression no longer as stern as before, and her face softened a lot. Lin Yi, did you and Captain Yang know each other before? Song Lingshan began to ask him direct questions. I guess so, but it was a long time ago and I almost forgot. If he hadn't recognized me that day, I would have almost forgotten him, Lin Yi explained calmly, but Song Lingshan refused to believe it. Forgot? Judging by Yang Huaijin's expression, he was more happy than if he had captured a criminal suspect. How could it be as simple as Lin Yi said? Song Lingshan could see that Captain Yang was genuinely excited that day, even a little incoherent. Really? Then how did you two know each other? Song Lingshan asked. Did your boss tell you not to ask questions you shouldn't ask? I heard you were an instructor in the special forces. You shouldn't be so unruly, right? Lin Yi put all of Song Lingshan's questions to rest with one sentence. Is there a confidentiality system? Song Lingshan was speechless. What kind of confidentiality system is this? You're not in the police system, nor in the military system. What can you keep secret? Even if Captain Yang is now the captain of the police force, telling how you know each other wouldn't have anything to do with a confidentiality system, right? Don't say it if you don't want to. Song Lingshan also played a trick. It's not a mission. Why keep it secret? Well, I'll tell you when you become my sister-in-law, or Yang Huaijin's sister-in-law. Lin Yi looked at Song Lingshan and said with a smile. Song Lingshan was confused. What did he mean by your sister-in-law? What did he mean by Yang Huaijin's sister-in-law? Who is Lin Yi talking about? Did he know her? Chapter 175 Lin Yi's search method. Asking for monthly votes. Your sister-in-law? Who is your brother? Captain Yang's sister-in-law? Who is Captain Yang's younger brother? Song Lingshan was confused by Lin Yi. My name is Yang Huaijin, Junjet, Lin Yi said with a smile. You call him Junjet? Song Lingshan immediately understood the meaning of Lin Yi's previous words. He calls Captain Yang Junjet, so Captain Yang is his brother? So he is not Captain Yang's younger brother? Song Lingshan's face suddenly turned red. Are you looking for death? Believe it or not, I will kick you out of the car. Song Lingshan retired from the special forces, and no one dared to tease her like this. Lin Yi is the first, and it's not the first time. This made Song Lingshan very angry. Was this guy sent by God to deliberately go against her? Ms. Song, I'm just being honest. What happened between Jun and I can only be shared with our own people. So if you want to know, just choose one. If you don't want to know, just drive. Lin Yi was just joking, telling Song Lingshan to keep quiet. Otherwise, if she asked too many questions, she might say something wrong. Lin Yi didn't want to continue on this topic. If you don't want to talk, then don't. So many excuses. Song Lingshan snorted and continued driving. The car was approaching the forest ahead. At the foot of the mountain, the car couldn't go any further. At the foot of the mountain, there was a police cordon. Several officers on duty were stationed at a temporary booth. Seeing Song Lingshan's car approach, they quickly emerged from the booth. Song Lingshan parked the car at the foot of the mountain and got out with Lin Yi. Captain Song, a police officer ran over and saluted, then addressed Song Lingshan. Is there anything going on? Song Lingshan asked. No, the policeman shook his head. No one's going up the mountain from here, nor down. Okay, go ahead and do your thing. I'll go up and take a look. Song Lingshan didn't hold out much hope. Captain Song, you're going up alone? The policeman looked at Lin Yi in surprise. Could this be Captain Song's rumored boyfriend, the one he'd been so eager to meet at the hospital? Well, he looked like a nice, sturdy guy. But why was Captain Song going up the mountain with him? You know, the robbers were still up there. This wasn't the best place for romance. Lin Yi and I are going up together, Song Lingshan said, pointing at Lin Yi. Sure enough. The policeman remembered that Song Lingshan's rumored boyfriend seemed to be named Lin Yi. It seemed like this guy really was Captain Song's boyfriend. But what were they going up the mountain for at this time? Captain Song, be careful. Should we send a few of our men to follow? The policeman was a little worried. Although Song Lingshan was the deputy captain, she was also a woman. No need, Song Lingshan naturally wouldn't let anyone follow. Since Lin Yi had already said that only 2 people would go up the mountain, wouldn't it be a sign of weakness if he led the group himself? Seeing Song Lingshan's insistence, the police officer could only step aside and watch Song Lingshan and Lin Yi walk up the mountain. Your people in the police force seem to care about you. Lin Yi was a little surprised. It seems you have quite a good reputation in the police force, so what do you think? Song Lingshan rolled her eyes and glared at Lin Yi. I'm the first in the women's free fighting category in the provincial police system. At this, Song Lingshan puffed out her chest slightly with pride. This was an honor she deserved to be proud of. Hey, you're first in other things too, Lin Yi said with a sly grin, looking at Song Lingshan's proud breasts. Huh? Lin Yi, do you want to die? Song Lingshan noticed Lin Yi's gaze and his malicious smile. How could she not know what he meant? Just because you're number 1 in women's fighting doesn't mean you can beat a man. Lin Yi shook his head. At least, I don't think you're a match for Yang Huaijin, so what? I'm certainly no match for Captain Yang, but beating you up is a piece of cake. Song Lingshan glared at Lin Yi with disdain. You look down on me. Fine, as long as you're better than me. How? Lin Yi shrugged. Let's have a fight sometime. Sure, who's afraid of who? I'll convince you then. Song Lingshan curled her lips. Naturally, she didn't believe Lin Yi was that powerful. Everyone can be arrogant. Climbing the mountain, she saw Lin Yi wandering aimlessly. Unsure of what he was doing, she initially followed him, but after a while, she couldn't figure out what he was really up to. Because Lin Yi was walking around aimlessly and without any purpose or pattern, Song Lingshan couldn't help herself. Lin Yi would walk back and forth, repeating the same path over and over again. She wondered what he was thinking. Was he trying to trick her? What the hell are you doing? You're walking around, and you're not looking for the robbers. What are you doing? Song Lingshan stopped. I'm looking. Lin Yi frowned slightly. If you don't understand, don't interrupt. If you want me to find someone, shut up and follow me. Otherwise, I'm going down the mountain. Hey, then go ahead and look. I won't say anything. Song Lingshan was furious. She'd only asked, but Lin Yi scolded her. Okay, then I'd see if his method of searching could actually lead to the robbers. When we can't find the robbers, we'll settle all the scores. You want to try it out, right? Okay, now. Lin Yi didn't have time to worry about what Song Lingshan was thinking. He was constantly monitoring the changes in his jade pendant. He wasn't absolutely sure it would sound a warning when he approached the robbers. After all, the enemies he'd previously found on the battlefield with the help of the jade pendant had all harbored deep hatred for him, eager to kill him. But these robbers, on the other hand, only had some initial ill will. Song Lingshan held back her anger and followed Lin Yi through the forest, not saying much. She followed Lin Yi wherever he went. She suppressed her temper for now. When Lin Yi really couldn't be found, that would be the time to settle the score. Song Lingshan even began to wonder why Captain Yang had introduced such a person to her. While Song Lingshan's investigative skills weren't as high as Yang Huaijin's, she did have a basic understanding of investigative knowledge and methods. After all, she had been a special forces instructor for so long. Although she only taught combat techniques, she also had some understanding of investigative techniques. Lin Yi's search was completely unsystematic, as if he was just going by the seat of his pants. Just as she was thinking about this, she suddenly saw Lin Yi walking towards the cliff. Song Lingshan hurriedly followed him. What are you doing? There's a cliff over there, no way out. Lin Yi didn't say anything, still walking quickly towards the cliff. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.